Chapter 1590. Why did the human realm become the 81 realms? According to legends, a great battle broke out between great beings, and the human realm was divided into 81 realms. There were also records that said the human realm was heading toward destruction. It couldn't bear the existence of so many living beings, so it was divided into 81 realms to accommodate more living beings. In addition, there were also records that said the collapse of the heavenly Tao caused the human realm to collapse as well. The Tao was incomplete and the heavens were split. There were all kinds of legends, and there was no definite answer. Yang Wu also didn't know why the human realm was divided into 81 realms. If these 81 realms were combined into one, then how glorious would the human realm have been in the past? The spirit of the divine core told Yang Wu the secret of why the human realm was divided into 81 realms. When the human realm was first born, Pangu opened the heavens and Nu Zue created humans. All living beings were created, and races with high intelligence appeared. Among these races, humans were the weakest, but their vitality was extremely tenacious, and they nurtured the wisdom of creation. Slowly, humans rose and became the masters of the human realm, and this realm was named Human Realm. In fact, since the creation of the God of creation, this was a place for humans to live in. After countless years, supreme beings appeared in each race, and they became more and more powerful. They were unwilling to stay in this realm, and wanted to leave here to see the wider world. Sure enough, outside of the human realm, there was the Yao realm, the ghost realm, and the devil realm. There were a total of 4 realms, and the living beings of the other 3 realms weren't inferior to the living beings of the human realm. In fact, they were even stronger. The living beings of the other realms also weren't willing to stay in their own realms, and they began to invade each other. The chaotic war of the 4 realms also led to the earliest race realm war. After the realm war, the living beings of the 4 realms were baptized by blood and tears, but they also took root in different places and survived. For example, the human realm had the Yao race, the ghost race, and the devil race. These were all seeds left behind by the earliest realm war. As time passed, conflicts between the 4 realms occurred. Some top-level living beings walked around the 4 realms, and they still weren't satisfied with these places. They continued to search for bigger worlds in the universe, and in the end, they found the undeveloped God realm. Thus, the top-level living beings of each realm used the God realm as their root, and injected life into the God realm, becoming the original spirits of the God realm. God realm of creation, and later the celestial realm. The higher the living beings of each realm, the higher their intelligence, and the stronger their combat power. These were not the main points that Yang Wu wanted to pay attention to. Yang Wu was more concerned about why the human world was divided into 81 worlds. The spirit of the realm core finally reached the main point. There's a big secret in the mortal realm. Those powerful cultivators who wanted to become supreme finally thought of attacking the mortal realm. They wanted to seize the power of the realm core and become the supreme god of the mortal realm, an existence that surpassed the 6 realms. Those powerful cultivators who had already become gods and immortals searched for the power of the realm core. The power of the realm core was the power that created all living things, and they were all created by the power of the realm core. They wanted to kill their parents, and heaven and earth would not tolerate it. The power of the realm core thought that it could suppress and kill them, but their strength had already taken a different path, and was not limited to just one realm. In the end, they joined forces to break into the realm core, and the power of the realm core engaged in an ultimate battle with them. In the end, they were killed by the power of the realm core, but the pillars of the realm core also collapsed and split into 81 parts, and it was difficult for them to reassemble. In that battle, countless living things died in the mortal realm, and the living things of the 81 realms split up. The Tao of heaven collapsed, and it was difficult for martial arts to be complete again. The realm core did not want any living things that were too powerful to appear again, so it allowed the living things of the 81 realms to continue living like this. Regardless of whether the human realm is united or not, the power of the realm core still exists. Those gods and immortals who want to surpass the 6 realms all want it. As a part of the human realm, you are the chosen one, chosen from countless living beings. Your martial will, comprehension, and talent are all the strongest. I hope you can become the guardian of the human realm, and stop those strong cultivators from devouring the power of the realm core. Once the power of the realm core is absorbed, all living beings in the 81 realms will suffer, and even the human realm will completely collapse and cease to exist. Yang Wu felt like he was listening to a heavenly book. He felt that all of this was too unbelievable. He was stunned for a long time before replying, You want me to protect the human realm? Isn't this a joke? Now, he felt like someone suddenly appeared in front of him and said, I see that you have a strange physique and are a martial arts genius. I will leave the heavy responsibility of saving the world to you. The feeling of a what the F*** K running over was too funny. Since we are here, why would I joke with you? Aren't you willing to do something for the human realm? That shadow asked again. Yang Wu shook his head lightly and said, That's not it. It's just that I don't think I have the ability to do so. Then let me ask you, when you entered the mountain prison, did you ever think that you would one day trample all the saints like this and become the first saint? Yang Wu raised his eyebrows and said, You know about my matters? I know everything about you. Yang Wu was puzzled. He felt that he was facing the power of the realm core. Nothing in the human realm could escape its senses. What right did he have to negotiate? Alright, then what benefits do I get from being the guardian? You can't make me the guardian and then let me fight against those strong cultivators, right? You should know that I can't even withstand a single attack from them. He did not fear ordinary divine-level cultivators, but how could he not fear those at the true God realm? He had seen the God Palace's God Chain. One God Chain's power could kill any divine-level cultivator. Of course, I won't make you work for nothing. You are too weak. There is heaven and earth source chi here for you to take. It can help you quickly become a strong cultivator. With your power, it is more than enough to protect the realm core, that shadow said. What a great temptation! Yang Wu exclaimed in his heart. There was heaven and earth source chi everywhere. If he cultivated here, one day would be more than 10 days in the outside world. If he wanted to become a strong cultivator, it would be very easy. Yang Wu almost agreed, but after thinking about it, he said, I can't stay here and cultivate. What? You want to refuse? Can you bear to see the 81 worlds destroyed and all your family members die because of it? It's not that I want to refuse. I can't bear to see the human world destroyed. I really can't do anything. I have my difficulties. Yang Wu said with a troubled expression. He cultivated the Sovereign 9 Mysteries formula. He needed to gather 9 types of mysterious essence chi to break through to the strongest level. Once he cultivated the Sovereign 9 Mysteries formula, he could not change to another Xian formula. Little Hay had already told him about this. He did not think that Little Hay was exaggerating. Moreover, he had a deep understanding of the wonders of the Imperial 9 profound art. Recite the formula. That shadow seemed to be able to read people's minds. No matter what Yang Wu was thinking, it knew exactly what he was thinking. Yang Wu was helpless. He could only obediently hand over the Sovereign 9 Mysteries formula. However, he was not stupid. He had only recited a part of the formula. Who knew what kind of terrifying creature it was? So it's this formula. I understand your difficulties, that shadow said with a trace of indescribable emotion. Then do you have a way to help me find other mysterious essence chi? Yang Wu asked urgently. If he obtained other mysterious essence chi, it would not be difficult for him to cultivate to the strongest level. Seeing that there was so much source chi of heaven and earth, it would not be difficult for him to become a guardian. You have to find it yourself. I can't help you. You can only rely on yourself. Yang Wu sighed and said, I knew it would be like this. He paused for a moment and said, Then can you give me some source chi of heaven and earth? What I can give is already on the lotus seat. You can't take any more. Go out. The spirit of the world core said and sent Yang Wu back to his original position. Yang Wu came back to his senses. He felt that everything was like a dream. He was extremely confused. The human world was destroyed by those experts who wanted to surpass the 6 realms. The human world core had always been coveted by those experts. Sooner or later, there would be experts who would come to fight for it. The spirit of the world core had self-protection consciousness. But when the opponent was too strong, it did not know if it could protect itself. That was why it looked for the chosen one to become its guardian. However, did Yang Wu not have such an opportunity? When Yang Wu left, the spirit of the world core seemed to have turned into a snake. It muttered, Cultivating that mysterious art is not as simple as being a guardian. It seems that the rise and fall of this place in the future will be related to him. Since that's the case, I'll help him solve some of his worries. In the next moment, a ball of source chi of heaven and earth was injected into the transcendent world. The transcendent world underwent a new change. The realm of survival became bigger. All kinds of resources were born again. Countless living beings' realms were increasing crazily. This meant that the transcendent world's level had increased again. If it was said that Yang Wu's first wish was to help the transcendent world become better, and make the transcendent world a medium-level world, then the spirit of the world core had made it a high-level world. This meant that the living beings of the transcendent world would become stronger and stronger. They would have more room to grow. Yang Wu's relatives were all in the transcendent world. If the transcendent world benefited, they would naturally benefit too. When Yang Wu returned to the transcendent world, he would also receive great benefit. Yang Wu did not know about all this. He sat cross-legged on the lotus seat. He felt a little regretful that he had missed a great opportunity. He scolded in his heart, Little Hay, if you were by my side, I promise not to beat you to death. You caused me to miss the opportunity to become the strongest expert. He firmly believed that the spirit of the world core had the ability to make him the strongest expert in the human world. However, because of the 9 mystic arts of the Supreme, he had missed this great opportunity. He could only blame Little Hay. However, he did not think too much about it. After a while, he began to cultivate. Other people were absorbing and cultivating the thin source chi of heaven and earth to increase their physique and strength. He did not do so. He really did not know what he was thinking. Chapter 1591. What was Yang Wu trying to do? Of course, he wanted to bring the heaven and earth source chi back. He had continuously raised his cultivation level, and it was not suitable for him to continue. Moreover, the heaven and earth xian chi and star energy here were incomparable to the outside world. He could make use of the environment here to cultivate. Others could only cultivate here for 49 days, but he could cultivate here for an entire year. Many things could change in a year's time. When the living beings here broke through their cultivation level and were sent out, he continued to stay here. He kept recalling the gains from the battles during this period and started to sort out his shortcomings and learn the strengths of others. In the continuous battles, he used the immortal moon mirror technique and learned many strong moves. Perhaps he could use them when he reached the God world. Many of the living beings were sent back to their own spatial realms. A portion of the living beings in the top 1,000 directly went to the God world. The spirit of the realm core satisfied them one by one. A portion of the living beings could choose to go to the God world later, but this time limit could not exceed 3 years. If they did not leave the human realm within 3 years, the spirit of the realm core would not care about them. These 3 years were just for them to settle the matters after they died. Because once they went to the God world, it would be difficult for them to return. The spirit of the realm core rejected the strong living beings of the God world. The stronger the living beings, the more it rejected them. If it was not for the fact that this was the homeland of the human race, it would not want the humans of the God world to return. Yang Wu did not think about this matter for the time being. He had been in seclusion and dispelled the gains he had made during this period of time, consolidating the strength of the level 11 star rune realm. A year's time passed in the blink of an eye. Not only did Yang Wu digest the gains from the various battles, he also rose from the initial stage of the level 11 star rune realm to the later stage. He was infinitely close to the level 12 star rune realm. This was under the condition that he had not refined the heaven and earth source chi. To have such a huge improvement was not only because of the supreme 9 mystic arts but also because the heaven and earth xian chi here was too dense. Moreover, he was close to the star rune realm and could constantly absorb a large amount of star energy. It would be strange if his strength did not increase. Seeing that the cultivation was about to end, Yang Wu quickly thought of a way to keep the heaven and earth source chi. This was his reward. Collect. Yang Wu opened the Qinkuan space and collected the source chi of heaven and earth. Master, if you don't share some with me, I won't give you any more immortal liquid in the future. The immortal immortality peach tree threw a tantrum. Alright, let's share it together then. Yang Wu hesitated for a moment before deciding to absorb a portion of the mother chi. This was because the immortal root also desired this power. Thus, Yang Wu began to refine a portion of the heaven and earth source chi. When the source chi of heaven and earth entered his body, he felt his body sublimate a lot. The vitality of his limbs and internal organs became incomparably active. The immortal immortality peach tree hurriedly devoured the heaven and earth source chi. The immortal root was not slow either. Hey, don't steal my power. The immortal immortality peach tree said unhappily. How could the immortal root be polite? Ever since it had acquired Ji Ling's spirit divinity, it had grown much stronger. If it could get more of the origin energy of heaven and earth, it would grow even stronger. Half of the source chi of heaven and earth was divided by the two of them. Yang Wu also benefited from this. His vitality doubled, and with his current lifespan, he was comparable to a top-tier immortal. Which Saint Realm creature could do something like this? Moreover, his power had also increased. He had reached the peak of the 11th level of the astral pattern realm, and he was only half a step away from the 12th level of the astral pattern realm. The immortal immortality tree's growth was also very obvious. It was much taller than before, and it had also grown new branches, a few more leaves, and a lot more immortal liquid. Yang Wu thought to himself, if I can obtain the source chi of heaven and earth there. In the next instant, Yang Wu was thrown out of the All Saints' palace. If you want to go to the immortal realm within 3 years, you can teleport there with a single thought. After 3 years, it will be ineffective. The spirit of the realm core's voice rang out. It paused for a moment before emphasizing, don't even think about using the power of the realm core. Otherwise, you will be mercilessly killed. Yang Wu smiled bitterly. Yes, I won't think about it. He had forgotten that the spirit of the realm core could sense all of his thoughts here. It was already being merciful by not killing him. At this moment, Yang Wu discovered that he had returned to the 3rd level of the last world. He didn't think about what had happened here anymore, and he flew toward the Jiang clan's territory. With his current strength, ordinary immortal rank beings wouldn't be a threat to him. He could do whatever he wanted on this level. Yang Wu noticed that the power of this world was much denser than before. Looking at any plant, it was thriving. It felt completely different from before. He didn't think too much and quickly arrived at the Jiang clan's territory. Before this, no one was allowed to approach the Jiang clan's land, not even Yang Wu. But now it was different. Yang Wu had become a hero of the transcendent world. No matter where he went, he would be respected. Moreover, he had formed a friendship with the Jiang clan and was an honored guest of the Jiang clan. When Yang Wu appeared, the Jiang clan's patriarch, Jiang Ting, sensed it. He rushed out and cupped his hands with a smile. "Welcome back, number one saint in the world." The Jiang clan's people were all alarmed. They rushed out one by one and looked at the returning Yang Wu. Then they cheered. "Welcome back, number one saint in the world. Welcome back, number one saint in the world." The Jiang clan still retained their purest character. They worshipped the strong incomparably and respected them. Yang Wu wasn't a member of their Jiang clan, but they were happy and proud for him, because he was their clan's honored guest. Moreover, Yang Wu was also Jiang Lu's master. With this layer of relationship, they respected Yang Wu even more. Yang Wu smiled and said, "Greetings, Patriarch Jiang and everyone. You all think too highly of me. You don't need to be modest. This is something publicly acknowledged by the All Saints Temple. It's definitely not a praise, but a well-deserved reputation." Jiang Ting said seriously. After a pause, he said, "Please enter the clan. We'll hold a celebration for you." "There's no need for this. Actually, I just came to say goodbye to you and then go back. What's the rush? Since you're here, how can we let you go back like this? Who knows when we'll see you again?" Jiang Ting didn't allow any explanation and pulled Yang Wu into the clan. Sure enough, everyone from the Jiang clan quickly gathered in an open space. They began to play ancient music, play happy flutes, and dance. They used this method to welcome Yang Wu's return. There were many spirit springs and spirit fruits placed on the table. Yang Wu sat beside Jiang Ting. There were even divine-level items placed on the table for him to enjoy. This was definitely the highest standard of hospitality. Yang Wu felt the Jiang clan's enthusiasm and also celebrated with them. As a result, many of the Jiang clan's women kept toasting him. They kept coming over, which made him feel very uncomfortable. These women were incomparably bold and unrestrained. Their passionate love couldn't be concealed at all. The other Jiang clan's men were also happy to see this. Not only did they not interfere, they even encouraged whoever took down Yang Wu would receive a rich reward. This also caused the Jiang clan's women to stick to Yang Wu like madmen. It wasn't the first time Yang Wu faced such a scene, but it was definitely the first time he encountered such passion. The other party's ample bosom kept squeezing him, causing him to almost have a nosebleed. Fortunately, his willpower was outstanding and he managed to muddle through in the end. If it was another man, I'm afraid he wouldn't be able to control himself. Amitabha, I'm really a Buddhist person. Yang Wu thought to himself. If the outside world saw him like this, they would definitely scold. Lu Xiaohui, you've lost all the face of us men. The celebration would continue for several days. Yang Wu didn't have that much time. He met up with his in-name disciple Jiang Lu again. Jiang Lu had grown a lot taller. His body was surrounded by a fiery aura. He already looked like a very outstanding big boy. He respectfully knelt down towards Yang Wu. Disciple greets Master. Master is testing whether you've improved in this period of time. Yang Wu responded and tested Jiang Lu's situation. Jiang Lu indeed didn't disappoint him. He could already refine pretty good medicinal pills and had a better understanding of medicinal theory. The only thing he lacked was that he was still young and couldn't control some details. His talent made even Yang Wu feel ashamed of his inferiority. Yang Wu believed that Jiang Lu would definitely become an outstanding alchemist in the future. Yang Wu also taught Jiang Lu some alchemy techniques and gave him some resources to ensure that Jiang Lu's future alchemy path would be smoother. Jiang Lu deeply remembered each of Yang Wu's words and also remembered Yang Wu's appearance. If there was a chance in the future, he wanted to go to the place where his master lived and see how his master grew. His master was a god in his heart. After Yang Wu finished all of this and received a huge gift from Jiang Ting, he prepared to leave. Yang Wu didn't reject Jiang Ting's gift. In the third layer of the last realm, resources were the most abundant. They didn't lack these things. This was also the reward he deserved for refining pills for them before. The Yang clan also urgently needed these resources to strengthen the clan. The final world's 3 layers of space were all isolated. Each layer required a powerful force to be able to break through. The Jiang clan's people could open these channels for Yang Wu, but Yang Wu didn't let them do so. He had a way to go out directly. The Jiang clan's people were puzzled. Without absolute power, this spatial barrier couldn't be broken through. Yang Wu displayed a void shuttling technique in front of them and directly entered the second layer from the third layer. The last realm's space was isolated, but the spatial barrier wasn't as thick as imagined. As long as there was a spatial crack, he could pass through it. This was the profoundness of the void shuttling technique. As Yang Wu's strength grew, the void shuttling ability would naturally strengthen along with it. Soon, he returned to the first layer of the last realm and saw the 2 brothers Gobi and Gu-Er again. Chapter 1592. Gobi and Gore were the elites of the Cyclops tribe, and their battle prowess was not inferior to demigods. When Yang Wu went to the second layer of the last realm, he left them with Chao Jifei to protect her. Now, both the Martial Sage Assembly and the Thousand Saints Assembly had ended. The creatures of the outside world had all left. Gobi and Gore could only stay in the first layer, as they had no way of leaving. The reason why the last realm was separated from the transcendent realm was to preserve some primitive realms and resources for the transcendent realm. If the outside world did not have them, there would still be some here in the future. It could be said that the last realm was the transcendent realm's last hope, and the Jiang clan was also recognized as the flame of hope by the human race. With them here, the transcendent realm's human race still had room to stand. If they were not here, there would be almost no one who could fight with the creatures of the other realms. Now, Yang Wu had completely changed the transcendent realm's situation. Therefore, the transcendent realm recognized him as a legendary hero, and this was definitely not an exaggeration. Even the Overlord-class Empyrean experts were no match for him. Yang Wu came to the Cyclops tribe's territory, and the Cyclops all bowed to him. The transcendent realm benefited, and so did the last realm. They had to show him respect. Lord First Sage, you must take us to the outside world, Gobi said expectantly. Gore also knelt and said, Yes, we're about to die of boredom in this place. You promised us that you would take us out to see it. The way they addressed Yang Wu changed, and their attitude became more respectful. Yang Wu smiled and said, As long as your chief agrees, I have no objections. After a pause, he said, The outside world isn't as good as you think, so don't expect too much. The Cyclops chief said, Let them go out. Our tribe has been staying in this place for a long time, and we really don't have much of a future. Moreover, it won't be long before the first layer of the last realm connects to the outside world, and we'll be able to come and go freely. Letting them go out to see it in advance is a good thing. Since the Cyclops chief had said so, Yang Wu didn't have any objections. With these 2 guards they could really scare people and act cool. However, it would not be easy to bring them out of this place. He could use the void traversal technique to leave, but how could he bring the 2 of them with him? Yang Wu felt that it was necessary to contact the Guardian. He brought the 2 Cyclopes to the spatial barrier wall and took the lead to travel out. The Guardian was already waiting for Yang Wu outside. When Yang Wu came out, the Guardian immediately bowed to Yang Wu and said, Greetings, Master. Yang Wu was stunned and asked, What did you call me? Master, from now on, you are Deng Sen's master. The Guardian said solemnly, Are you sure you didn't make a mistake? Yang Wu was stunned. You became our human world's #1 saint and brought a lot of resources to the transcendent realm. The transcendent realm is already advancing to an intermediate realm, and in less than 100 years, it will definitely become an advanced realm. Many powerful creatures will appear, and all the creatures in the transcendent realm will be grateful to you. As the transcendent realm's guardian, it is natural for me to take you as my master. Deng Sun explained. Yang Wu's mind couldn't wrap itself around this. In the All Saints Palace, the spirit of the Realm Core wanted him to be the human world's guardian, but the Transcendent Realm's guardian wanted him to be his master. What did this have to do with anything? Without waiting for Yang Wu to think clearly, Deng Sun said, "Our Transcendent Realm has always been a low-level realm, and we are lacking in all kinds of resources. The number of experts that can appear is limited, and because of this, the lifespan of all living creatures is greatly affected." Master obtained the title of the number 1 saint in the human world, broke all the records in the Transcendent Realm, and became the number 1 person in the Transcendent Realm. The fate of the Transcendent Realm is already invisibly linked to you, so as long as you want it, you can get it. And I am the Transcendent Realm's guardian, and my fate has long been one with the Transcendent Realm. It is natural for me to take you as my master, so you don't need to feel burdened. Furthermore, by becoming your servant, I will only help you do things that are beneficial to the Transcendent Realm. I can also help you become stronger, but I will not help your family deal with all kinds of trivial matters. At the same time, I will protect you, and no living creature in the Transcendent Realm will be able to harm you until you become the strongest expert in the Transcendent Realm. The general meaning is, you will only protect me and help me, and won't do anything else, right? Yang Wu asked back. Yes, that's about it, Deng Sun said indifferently. Oh, then forget it. You can continue to be a guardian. There are still many things in the Transcendent Realm that require your attention, so you don't have to worry too much about my matters. Yang Wu rejected. A guardian was definitely one of the strongest in the Transcendent Realm, and was not inferior to an invincible expert like his master. Yang Wu had rejected a super expert just like that. Deng Sun was dumbfounded. What kind of person was he? He had taken the initiative to follow Yang Wu, but he was actually rejected by Yang Wu? He wondered if he had heard wrongly. Master, why don't you need me? You are still weak, and without my protection, there will still be many people who will deal with you, wanting to steal your luck, especially the living creatures from other realms. You have become the world's greatest sage, the chosen one, so they won't let you off so easily. Deng Sun said again. Yang Wu raised his eyebrows and said, There are still people who dare to come to the Transcendent Realm to find trouble with me? There's nothing to be afraid of. You have become the chosen one, and the Transcendent Realm's luck has increased, which means that the other realm's luck has shrunk. They definitely won't want to see this happen, so as long as they kill you, the Transcendent Realm's luck will return to their realms. Deng Sun explained. Only then did Yang Wu realize that becoming the chosen one didn't seem to be a particularly good thing. Instead, it had caused trouble for him. It's not easy for the living creatures from other realms to come to the Transcendent Realm, right? Yang Wu asked back. Deng Sun said again, It's not easy, but it's not as hard as you imagine. There will always be some people who can do it. Then let's talk about it after they do it. With you guarding, no matter who comes, you don't have to give me face. Kill them all, don't be polite. Yang Wu said, pausing for a moment, he said again, I want to bring 2 giants out from the end realm space. You open a spatial gate. All right. Deng Sun was stunned for a moment, then immediately did as Yang Wu said. He was guarding this space, so it was not difficult to open a spatial gate. Yang Wu once again entered the end realm space, then brought out the 2 giants. Yang Wu sat on the desert, looked at Deng Sun, and said, Guardian, the heavy responsibility of continuing to guard the Transcendent Realm will be handed to you. If there's anything you need help with, feel free to find me. However, I will be leaving in 3 years, so I probably won't be able to help you much. That's right, Yang Wu decided to head to the Divine Realm in 3 years. Not only because of Ziyu, but also because of Yang Wan and Little He. He must find their whereabouts, and he also wanted to experience how powerful the life forms of the Divine Realm were. He also had the heart of a hero. It was just that, How should he tell his family about this matter? This time, he might not know when he would return, or even not return at all. His heart was so conflicted and uncomfortable. He wanted to find a way to satisfy both sides, thinking whether there was a way to go back and forth between the two realms. Once a life form went to the divine realm, wanting to return was too difficult. He was the heaven's chosen one, so would there be special treatment? Before this, he still had to prepare the Void Grand Array. With the Void Grand Array, it should not be difficult for him to return in the future. The human realm was the foundation of the human race. Yang Wu brought the two giants with him on his journey. This was too ostentatious. He wanted to make them smaller, but they could only be bigger, not smaller. They were born like this. Helplessly, he could only move forward in this ostentatious manner. The two of them were too huge, and wherever they went, many life forms were frightened. When these life forms saw Yang Wu, they immediately calmed down and shouted, "Welcome back, First Sage! Welcome back, First Sage!" Yang Wu's matter had already spread to the transcendent world. People like Sun Do and Lu Ji had returned a year earlier than Yang Wu, and news about him had already spread from Lu Ji. Yang Wu had become a superhero, and he deserved it. Yang Wu was surrounded by many life forms, and it affected his journey too much. He could not help but think, it would be great if I could bring the two of them back to the family. Just as he was thinking this, a will suddenly descended on him, and directly brought him and the two giants back to the Yang family's territory. When Yang Wu came back to his senses, he had already appeared outside the Yang family's city. What's going on here? Gobi jumped in fright and said. The outside world is indeed full of mysteries, Gore said from the side. Yang Wu also felt that it was very magical. He closed his eyes and felt the power of the will of heaven and earth. It seemed to be incomparably close to him, and when he felt the changes in heaven and earth, he seemed to understand something. I see. Yang Wu came to a realization. The transcendent world had leveled up because of him, and it had obtained more resources. He was the chosen one chosen by the spirit of the realm core, and he had also walked out of the transcendent world. There was an inexplicable relationship between the two. This feeling was like the spirit of the realm core had chosen him as the chosen one and made him its guardian. The transcendent world had tacitly agreed with everything Yang Wu had done, and recognized Yang Wu as half its master. Therefore, he had a connection with the will of the transcendent world. As long as he was in the transcendent world, he could directly teleport anywhere he wanted. It could be said that he had already become half a god in the transcendent world, and had some unique abilities. This was definitely a great gain. The two Cyclops appeared outside the Yang family's city, and instantly attracted the attention of the Yang family. Where did the two giants come from? They look so scary. Look, is the one on the giant's shoulder the patriarch? Yes, it seems to be the patriarch. The patriarch has returned, the patriarch has returned. What, the patriarch has returned? Let's quickly go out of the city to welcome him. Quick, I want to see the patriarch. My God, I saw the patriarch. I saw the number one saint in the world. I'm so lucky, so lucky. Not only the people of the Yang family, but even the people outside the Yang family went crazy when they knew that Yang Wu had returned. Yang Wu's deeds had already spread throughout the world, and the spirit of the realm core had announced it to the world. Many creatures had already rushed to the Yang family's city to wait. They had to see Yang Wu or take a look at the place where Yang Wu had stayed. This was a unique legendary hero, worthy of their respect and worship. Therefore, in the year that Yang Wu had been cultivating, the Yang family's city had doubled in size. It was still not enough. Chapter 1593. With Yang Wu's return, the Yang family celebrated again. Yang Wu could not bring the two giants back to the family, so he could only let them go to the mountains behind the Yang family and stay with the Crow clan. They were too ostentatious and could not go anywhere, so it was better to let them stay in the Yang family. After Yang Wu greeted everyone, he went back to the family. He did not have the time to entertain them one by one. These people looked at him with fanatical gazes. He was afraid that he would be drowned by their enthusiasm. After returning to the family, the people in the family were just as enthusiastic, cheering for him non-stop. They knelt on the ground to welcome his return. "Get up, don't be so excited, it's no big deal." Yang Wu looked at these people and comforted them, not wanting to see them lose their composure. How could they not be excited? The first saint in the world came from their Yang family. This was the most glorious event in history. How could they be calm? "Patriarch, you are the pride of our Yang family, let us bask in your Saint Chi." An old saint knelt and said. Another person said, "That's right, Patriarch, you don't have to worry about us. Our Yang family has gone through 10,000 years of ups and downs, persevering until today to rise again. You have done a great job, the entire clan is grateful to you. Just let us properly worship you. Patriarch, we want to set up an immortal monument for you, so that the future generations will respect you and see you as a role model." The entire Yang family, from top to bottom, worshipped Yang Wu to the point of prostrating themselves before him. They no longer knew how to express their feelings. Yang Wu's monument statue had been built long ago. It was placed in the family's important place, accepting everyone's worship. Such a monument statue, only Yang Wu could receive such treatment. Even Gong Xilan, the great-grandmother who had contributed a lot to the Yang family, did not receive such treatment. And this monument was actually Gong Xilan's suggestion. The entire family approved. No one had any objections. Yang Wu looked at his monument, speechless. He was still young. How could he bear the worship of the family? Gong Xilan appeared beside him and said, "Patriarch, please brand the monument statue. Clan leader, please imprint the monument statue." The entire clan called out in unison. Yang Wu had no choice but to follow the will of the people. Yang Wu looked at the monument, closed his eyes and murmured, "Since it is my monument statue, I will give it my will power and let it protect my family for me." In the next moment, his will of soul appeared and moved toward the monument. He cut his wrist and dripped his blood essence onto the monument. As he did so, the transcendental world's willpower seemed to have sensed it. Wind, clouds, rain, and thunder came. All sorts of strange phenomena appeared at the same time and fell on the monument statue. After the monument statue received the baptism of this power and fused with Yang Wu's soul, will, and blood, it seemed to have come alive. It emitted a powerful force that enveloped the Yang family's territory. Even the war race far away could feel it. "Greetings to the Patriarch, may the Patriarch be blessed." The entire Yang family knelt and chanted again. At this moment, even Gong Xilan had to bow slightly. It was as if Yang Wu was the god of this world in front of her, and even his grandmother had to bow. A surge of power descended upon the Yang clan. Everything in the Yang clan instantly changed. Some people instantly comprehended the martial Tao, some immediately broke through to the next realm, and some immediately became a saint. Purple chi filled the sky and rose from the ground. The momentum was unstoppable. The monument statue seemed to have the help of the gods, and became lifelike. Yang Wu also formed a connection with it, as if he could borrow it to sense everything in the family. "Many thanks." Yang Wu expressed his gratitude to the transcendental world's willpower. After the monument statue received the transcendental world's willpower, it was equivalent to receiving the protection of the transcendental world's willpower. Moreover, it was connected with his mind, and it was equivalent to a powerful god guarding here. Whoever dared to be disrespectful to the Yang family, this statue could completely use the transcendental world's willpower to kill them. Even if it was an overlord-level expert, they would not be able to return alive. After doing all this, Yang Wu and Gong Xilan went to the forbidden area in the backyard. "Wuer, are you going to the divine realm next?" Gong Xilan asked. Yang Wu replied in a deep voice, "I don't really want to go. This was Yang Wu's inner voice. He really didn't want to go. Why? Gong Xilan asked. Because my family, lovers, and friends are here, Yang Wu said with emotion. He was a person who valued friendship and righteousness. He was extremely reluctant to abandon everything here and go to the divine realm. You are a good child, but your future is incomparably bright. Even if you leave, great-grandmother will still take care of this family, so you can be assured. Gong Xilan replied. After pausing for a bit, she then said, but before you leave, you must leave behind a descendant for the family. Yang Wu never thought that Gong Xilan would suddenly change the topic. He didn't know what to say. Xie Tian still hadn't returned to the family, so he was too incompetent as a father. If he left behind a descendant and he wasn't by his side, he would be too irresponsible. Yang Wu hesitated for a bit, but he still told Gong Xilan about Xie Tian. When the divine mathematician came to the Yang family, Gong Xilan already knew that he had a child. Now that he told her about Xie Tian's situation, he could avoid some trouble in the future. After Gong Xilan heard this, her face revealed a trace of worry. Could it be that the child really became bad like the divine mathematician said? I don't know if he became bad or not. I only know that he is my son, so I won't allow anyone to hurt him, Yang Wu said in a serious voice. After pausing for a bit, he then said, he and Rebirth are natural enemies. I hope that when Rebirth recovers his memories, great-grandmother can help me persuade him to not make things hard for Xie Tian. They are more suited to be brothers. I know my limits on this matter. Let's talk about your future plans. You have become the world's #1 saint, and the divine mathematician building has already expressed their willingness to become allies with our Yang family. There are many other powers that have come to form an alliance with us. Other than the divine mathematician building's good intentions, I haven't accepted anyone else yet. I'll wait for you to make the decision. I will take a month to straighten out these matters. It is time for our Yang family to show off our might. Yang Wu returned. The transcendent world was filled with excitement. Various large and small powers, whether they had relations with the Yang family or not, sent envoys to congratulate them. At the same time, they wanted to become allies with the Yang family. There were also many powers that sent their saintesses or princesses to propose marriage to see if they could move Yang Wu. If they couldn't move Yang Wu, then they would marry other members of the Yang family and try their best to form a relationship with Yang Wu. For a while, the Yang family city was filled with people. Even if the Yang family city had doubled in size, it was still filled with people. It could be imagined how many people wanted to see Yang Wu and form a relationship with the Yang family. Yang Wu had become the heaven's chosen son and obtained the approval of the transcendent world. Those people that cursed Yang Wu had been punished by the heavens. Even heaven-reaching old monster had died. Who dared to go against the will of the transcendent world, and who didn't dare to acknowledge Yang Wu? As long as they had a good relationship with Yang Wu, they would be able to obtain more benefits. Otherwise, nothing would have much to do with them. Yang Wu asked Lu Ji and Pang Yuan to come up with a plan to deal with the current situation. No matter how big or small these powers were, he didn't want any trouble. At his current position, he didn't want to offend anyone, nor was he afraid of offending anyone. He only wanted to send them away smoothly. Lu Ji and Pang Yuan, the two great strategists, had already come up with a contingency plan. They had Gong Xilan, the heaven-reaching expert, and many saints. They had jointly created a small space where only the envoys of first-rate powers were qualified to enter. Furthermore, the number of people they would receive every day was fixed. It wouldn't exceed 10 people, and they would only receive 100 people in the end. Of course, this excluded the major powers. The reason why they had set a limit was mainly because there were too many powers and they couldn't take care of so many. Furthermore, the top 100 would depend on whether the other party cherished the opportunity and whether they were sincere. If they didn't cherish it, they wouldn't have any sincerity. No matter how many powers they received, it would be meaningless. In addition, it wasn't that they didn't care about the other powers that weren't in the top 100. Instead, they sent out other powers to receive them. If there were any powers that were worth forming an alliance with, they could also keep them. In the end, they would judge which powers were worth forming a deep relationship with the Yang family, and which ones weren't. Only then would they make the final decision. Now, it was the Yang family who chose their allies, not others who chose them as allies. It was completely different. With these two great strategists, the Yang family dealt with things quickly. First, they arranged for a powerful team to intimidate those powers that wanted to cause trouble. Then, they let the two Cyclops show their faces and made them the left and right protectors of the Yang family city. There were also a few demon gods that Qiu Long brought out from the medicine god palace. This was enough to make many people tremble in fear. In addition, Yang Wu also showed his hand personally. His powerful spirit covered every corner of the Yang family city, allowing all living beings to clearly feel his pressure. He said faintly, "I am Yang Wu. Welcome to the Yang family city. Thank you for giving me face. I hope that everyone will be friends of the Yang family in the future." After saying this, he disappeared. Under the arrangements of Lu Ji and Pang Yuan, Yang Wu approached some of the envoys one after another. He received the gifts they offered and chatted with them about some matters. The general idea was that they wanted to form an alliance with the Yang family, or cooperate with the Yang family. In short, they wanted to have some relationship with the Yang family. Because of their relationship with Yang Wu, the Yang family had received the favor of the will of the transcendent realm. They would definitely welcome a period of rapid development. Even if they couldn't eat the meat, they still wanted to drink some soup. In the third wave of people that Yang Wu received, Yang Wu saw the Li family's envoy. His face was filled with amusement. "Greetings, Patriarch Yang Wu. You are the pride of our battle tribe. We are proud of you." Chapter 1594. The messenger sent by the Li clan was Yang Qingxing's brother-in-law, Li Wenfeng, who was also the younger brother of the Li clan leader. Li Wenfeng represented the Xing clan to persuade the Yang clan to release the Xing clan's prisoners. In the end, Li Wenfeng suffered a double loss. After returning to the Li clan, he had been depressed. With the rise of Yang Wu, the Li clan withdrew from the alliance with the Xing clan and wanted to form a new alliance with the Yang clan. This time, Li Wenfeng came to the Yang clan with an important task. If he could obtain the Yang clan's forgiveness and form a new alliance with the Li clan, it would be a great achievement. After Li Wenfeng saw Yang Wu, he frantically flattered him, saying good things about Yang Wu. It could be said that he had already thrown his face aside. Yang Wu had a slight impression of Li Wenfeng, but it was not very deep. It was only after Lu Ji and Pang Yuan mentioned him that he remembered some things. After all, the Yang and Li clans had formed a new alliance. It was not impossible to give the Li clan another chance. However, when Yang Wu saw Li Wenfeng, he did not give him any face and shouted, "Your Li clan still has the face to come to my Yang clan. Drag him out and behead him." In the past, the Yang clan and the Li clan formed an alliance. The Yang clan was forced to give a city to the Li clan. It was called Returning Li City. Many years ago, the Yang clan expanded again. Yu Chang'an led a team to take back the city and renamed it Chang'an City. It was time to settle the debts that the Li clan forced on the Yang clan. Li Wenfeng was scared to the point of peeing by Yang Wu. His legs went soft and he fell to the ground. He cried, "Yang Wu clan leader, please spare my life. Clan leader Yang Wu, please spare my life. I am here to ask for an alliance." Do you think our Yang clan wants to form an alliance with your Li clan?" Yang Wu snorted unhappily. He then said, "Quickly drag him out and behead him." "Yes, clan leader." Yang Ba and Su Chu, the two door gods, stood up and walked towards Li Wenfeng. Li Wenfeng knelt down and kowtowed. "Patriarch Yang Wu, please listen to me. Our Li family is willing to cede 2 cities, give you 10 holy veins, 3 holy veins, and 5 mineral veins in the world of fighting. Please forgive us. Please don't kill me. Just treat me as a fart and let me go. Li Wenfeng regretted it. He knew it was not a clan leader, but he did not expect it. If he had known that he would lose his head, even if he had 10 times the courage, he would not have come as an emissary. When Lu Ji and Pang Yuan, who were below Yang Wu, heard Li Wenfeng's words, a faint smile appeared on their faces. They now knew how sincere the Li family was. Pang Yuan stood up and said, "Clan leader, please calm down. I see that the Li family has come with sincerity. Why don't we hear how sincere they are before making a decision?" Lu Ji said, "That's right. After all, the Li clan and the Yang clan are both battle clans. Give them a chance." Yes. Our battle clans have always been united against the demon race. Please, since we are all from the same clan, spare my dog life. Clan leader Yang Wu, if you have any other requests, we will do our best to fulfill them. Li Wenfeng hurriedly said. Yang Wu muttered, "Your Li clan is a traitor. First, you betrayed the Yang clan. Then, you betrayed the Xing clan. Now, you want to form an alliance with the Yang clan. I don't know what's the use of keeping people like you." "It's useful. In the future, our Li clan will follow the Yang clan's lead. Since you said so, I will give you a chance. Go back and tell your Li clan that if you want our forgiveness, you will have to submit to the Yang clan. Don't even think about being on equal footing. You don't have the qualifications. If you don't agree, it's fine. Bear the consequences yourself." Yang Wu declared. "Whether it's true or not, I will definitely pass on your words to the clan." Li Wenfeng hurriedly nodded. Then, he wanted to leave this place. He thought that as long as he could leave this place and live, he would run as far as he could. He didn't want to participate in the conflict between the two clans. "Wait, did we allow you to leave? Take him down and capture his soul. Then, let him go back and report." "Yes, clan leader." No. Li Wenfeng's fate was obvious. How could it be so easy for him to escape? Most of his soul was controlled by the Yang clan. Only a small part of his soul was left to control his body and return to the Li clan to report. After the Li clan learned of Yang Wu's request, they were incomparably furious. The Li clan's Tongtian slapped Li Wenfeng to death on the spot. When the Yang clan saw Li Wenfeng's soul dissipate, they knew the Li clan's decision. They weren't willing to submit to the Yang clan. Yang Wu sneered, "It won't be long before the 8 great battle clans become the 5 great clans." In his heart, the Xing, Lu, and Li clans had to be destroyed. However, although he had obtained the recognition of the transcendent world's will, it didn't mean that he could punish them on behalf of the heavens. He wasn't so arrogant that he could easily destroy these 3 clans. He still needed some time to plan. He would borrow the power of the transcendent world's will to increase the Yang clan's combat strength. Then, he would ask for allies to join forces to deal with these 3 clans. It wouldn't be difficult. It would depend on the Xianyuan clan's attitude. Not long after, Yang Wu received the emissary from the Purple Firmament Hall. Originally, he didn't want to receive the emissary from the Purple Firmament Hall. However, after learning the emissary's name, he had no choice but to receive them. The Purple Firmament Hall sent a total of 3 emissaries. They were Yu Yu's parents, Zi Suzhong, Wei Jingru, and Zi Yu Yu's former maidservant, Zi Qi. Yang Wu had a good impression of Zi Suzhong. Unfortunately, he was a little henpecked and didn't have much status in the Purple Firmament Hall. If it wasn't for his daughter, he wouldn't have the glory he had today. This included Wei Jingru. This woman was rather snobbish. She used to be quite glorious in the Purple Firmament Hall because of her daughter. She treated the servants rather harshly, but warmly fawned over the people above her. Back then, she didn't know that Yang Wu was already a divine apothecary. She also spoke sarcastically to Yang Wu and didn't think much of him. As for Zi Qi, she was no longer Yu Yu's maidservant. After Zi Yu went to the God Realm, she became Zi Suzhong's and Wei Jingru's adopted daughter. She received a lot of cultivation resources from the Purple Firmament Hall. Her cultivation talent wasn't low either. She could be considered to have some fame in the Purple Firmament Hall. Compared to the past, Ziqi was indeed a lot more beautiful. In addition, she was also wearing gorgeous clothes and beautiful accessories. She looked like a rich young lady. When she saw Yang Wu, her beautiful eyes flashed with a trace of infatuation. When they were in the transcendent realm, she actually didn't have a good impression of this Viscount. He was too mischievous and didn't look very good. Now that they met again after so many years, Yang Wu had changed a lot. His appearance and temperament were completely different from before. It was said that a woman changes 18 times between childhood and womanhood. This saying was very suitable for Yang Wu. Every time she saw him, he would change. Moreover, he changed for the better. It was very fascinating. When Zi Suzhong and Wei Jingru saw Yang Wu again, the former more or less had a trace of embarrassment on his face. The latter, on the other hand, had an unknown smile on her face. It was as if she didn't come here to curry favor with Yang Wu. Instead, she came here to give Yang Wu charity. Without waiting for Yang Wu to speak, Wei Jingru opened her mouth and said, "Patriarch Yang Wu, we meet again. This time, we are here to talk about marriage with you. Last time, you made a scene in our Purple Cloud Palace, and everyone saw it. You are good to my daughter, but unfortunately, she is destined to go to the Divine Realm. She is not destined to be with you, and I believe that you will not force her. However, our Purple Cloud Palace will not care about the past, and I plan to let my adopted daughter, Ziqi, marry you. You don't have to feel embarrassed. If Yuyuan knows about this, she will also feel happy for you. After all, she also liked you before, and Ziqi is her sister. If you two can be together, it will be a true match made in heaven." Yang Wu glanced at Wei Jingru before turning his gaze to Zi Suzhong. He smiled and said, "Uncle Suzhong, long time no see. How are you?" Zi Suzhong was a little embarrassed and said, "I'm fine. How about you?" After saying this, he couldn't help but slap himself. Yang Wu was the world's greatest saint. How could he not be fine? The Purple Firmament Palace had sent them as envoys to persuade Yang Wu to let bygones be bygones. They wanted to facilitate a marriage between the two families and let bygones be bygones. The current Yang Wu could be said to be extremely popular. "Amen, I'm fine too," Yang Wu replied softly. This time, Zi Suzhong was stunned and didn't know what to say. Wei Jingru glared at her husband and transmitted her voice. "Idiot, get to the point." Zi Suzhong came back to his senses and rubbed his hands together as he said to Yang Wu, What do you think of Jingru's suggestion? Our Purple Firmament Palace really does want to let bygones be bygones. Although this child, Ziqi, has a bit of a temper, she is still a decent person." When Wei Jingru and Ziqi heard Zi Suzhong's words, their expressions turned ugly. What did he mean by Ziqi having a bit of a temper? How could he introduce someone like that? No matter how modest he was, he couldn't do this. Yang Wu nodded lightly and said, "Amen, Uncle Suzhong's words are reasonable." Then he said loudly to Su Chu, "I'll bestow a marriage upon you. Are you willing?" Su Chu stepped forward and replied, "I'll follow the clan leader's orders." "All right, this is my Uncle Suzhong's adopted daughter. For his sake, I'll pull some strings for the two of you to get married. Are you willing?" Yang Wu asked again. Su Chu didn't even look at Ziqi. He knelt on one knee and said, "Even if the clan leader wants me to marry a sow as my wife, Su Chu won't have any objections." This time, Ziqi's face completely darkened. She cursed in her heart, "You're the pig. Your whole family are pigs." She really wanted to curse out loud, but she didn't dare to. This was Yang Wu's territory. She didn't want to die yet. This time, Wei Jingru couldn't take it anymore. She jumped out and said, "Yang Wu, you're wrong. We want to marry Ziqi to you, not marry her to your subordinate." "He's not my subordinate, but my brother. Could it be that you think my brother isn't worthy of her?" Yang Wu asked coldly. She's our adopted daughter, Yu's sister, and the direct disciple of the Purple Firmament Hall's holy elder. Wei Jingru jabbered on. Without waiting for her to finish, Yang Wu interrupted her and said, "My brother is a martial saint." "So what if he's a martial saint? He's still a servant," Wei Jingru said straightforwardly. "But..." An invisible palm slapped towards her face, causing her face to swell on the spot. She screamed in pain. "If you dare to look down on my brother again, I'll kill you even if you're Yu's mother." Chapter 1595. Zi Shuzhong, Wei Jingru, and Zi Qi were chased out. If it wasn't for Ziyu, Yang Wu wouldn't have let them off so easily. Did an insensible mother-in-law think that he didn't dare to hit her? With Yang Wu's status, the Purple Firmament Hall still dared to play such tricks. They really didn't know how to improve. However, after the three of them were chased out, Lei Yaoxian personally came. Yang Wu and Lei Yaoxian had a conversation before at the Thunder Mountains. This time, Yang Wu still gave him face and chatted with him again. The Purple Firmament Hall had stood in the Transcendent Realm for many years and had connections with the God Realm. The Transcendent Realm's willpower had a limited effect on them. Moreover, they had a strong foundation and wouldn't cause any trouble in a short period of time. Yang Wu had just become the #1 martial sage in the world, but it didn't mean that he could look down on any power. After Lei Yaoxian saw Yang Wu, he went straight to the point and said, "Yang Wu, if you go to the God Realm, you can join my Purple Firmament Hall. The God Spirit of my Purple Firmament Hall has spoken. As long as you join our Purple Firmament Hall, you can obtain enough cultivation resources and become a candidate to be groomed as a son of God. Moreover, you can also reunite with Yu." It had to be said that Lei Yaoxuan's straightforward words surprised Yang Wu. The Purple Firmament Hall of the God Realm had thrown an olive branch to him? It seems that the Chosen One's influence is very big. Yang Wu sighed in his heart. After a pause, he said, "Can I let Yu be with me?" He and Yu had already bowed to the heavens and earth, and were husband and wife. Even without their parents as witnesses, they had already regarded each other as their closest companions. Lei Yaoxian revealed an unnatural expression and said, "Both of you are in the God Realm. Being together shouldn't be much of a problem." After a pause, he added, "Yu arrived in the God Realm before you. Perhaps she already has other friends and has more choices. I hope that you can set your sights further. There should be many girls more outstanding than Yu in the God Realm. You don't have to keep staring at her. Not only will it affect your own future, but it will also affect hers." Lei Yaoxuan's words were more pertinent. It was indeed for the sake of Yang Wu and Ziyu that he said these words from the bottom of his heart. He was afraid that Yang Wu's temper was still so stubborn. After reaching the divine world, he would get into a conflict with other people because of Ziyu. This would definitely affect the development of their relationship. How could Yang Wu not hear the hidden meaning in Lei Yaoxuan's words? He said in a deep voice, "You don't understand the feelings between me and Yu. Cultivating immortality is the long-cherished wish of people of my generation. However, I would rather cultivate for 100 years and be happy. Although that's the case, that's only the mortal world. When you go to the God Realm, perhaps you will have different thoughts. As for the matter between you and Yu, it will depend on your fate. If your performance is outstanding enough, perhaps the God Realm will allow the two of you to be together." Lei Yaoxian said. Then, he took out an item and said, "This is a token bestowed by the God Realm of the Purple Firmament Hall. When you go to the God Realm, you can use it to sense the location of the Purple Firmament Hall. It is also the proof of joining the Purple Firmament Hall." This token held great significance. It was something that many of the overlords in the Transcendent Realm wanted. From their point of view, with this token, it was equivalent to having a protective talisman when they went to the God Realm. Their lives would not be in danger. The God Realm was powerful. They could meet powerful fellows at any time. Even if they had an overlord's cultivation, it would be hard for them to protect themselves. Only those who had the protection of a powerful force would be safe. Yang Wu did not take the token. He replied, "You can leave. The grudge between my Yang family and the Purple Firmament Hall is written off. There is no need for us to have any dealings in the future." Now that Yu had gone to the God Realm, he did not want to have anything to do with the Purple Firmament Hall. Of course, if the Purple Firmament Hall wanted to find trouble with him, he would not be easy to bully. Now, with his various trump cards, he could fight one-on-one with overlords. With the protection of the Transcendent Realm's will, he could be said to be in an undefeatable position in the Transcendent Realm. Lei Yaoxian did not expect Yang Wu to reject him so straightforwardly. He opened his mouth to say something, but in the end, he shook his head and left. Yang Wu's personality was too stubborn. After suffering in the God Realm, perhaps he would regret what he had done today. Yang Wu met with the 100 representatives of the 100 forces and had a simple chat with them. Some of them reached an alliance agreement, some of them did not, but they could be considered to have formed a good relationship with each other. There were also some that were rejected directly. Yang Wu left the following matters to Lu Ji and Pang Yuan. He went to meet with some old friends such as the Sun family and the Dan family. They were the first allies to support Yang Wu. He had to take some time to meet with them. In addition, because of him, the Mount Hing School had become the leader of the 5 mountains. Mount Song and Mount Tai were willing to respect the Mount Hing School and stop causing trouble. Firstly, the Mount Hing School had the Sword Demon, so they had no chance of snatching the 5 mountains' sword manual. Secondly, Yang Wu had become the world's #1 martial sage, and he was the son-in-law of the Mount Hing School. If they continued to cause trouble, they would be the ones to suffer. Fortunately, they reacted quickly. If they had been a little later, Yang Wu would definitely have joined forces with the Mount Hing School to settle accounts with them. To deal with forces like Mount Song and Mount Tai, he did not even need the Yang family to take action. He only needed to wave his arm, and a large number of people would be willing to stand up for the Yang family. Today, the Yang family was no longer the same. This time, Shu Yujun and Shu Yujun came together not only to celebrate Yang Wu becoming the world's #1 martial sage, but also to officially let Shu Yujun live in the Yang family. Yang Wu and Shu Yujun had been married for a long time, but she had never lived in the Yang family. This was not only because of Shu Yujun, but also because of Yang Wu. The time was not ripe, and now was the best time. Now Wan Lanxin was the wife of the Yang family's patriarch, and Shu Yujun had joined in. The Yang family did not know how to address her. Between her and Wan Lanxin, who was the rightful wife of the patriarch, Yang Wu had no way to deal with this matter. The most important person in his heart was still Ziyu, but without her, the family could not go a day without a female head. His feelings for both Wan Lanxin and Shu Yujun were equally heavy. If he asked one to be the head of the family, he would offend the other. This was the difficulty of having too many women. Fortunately, there was a great-grandmother in the family, and she personally came out to deal with these 2 women. It was said that having an elder in the family was like having a treasure. Great-grandmother had been in the Yang family for nearly 10,000 years. What had she not seen? Dealing with these women was child's play to her. Sure enough, after Gong Xilan met Wan Lanxin and Shu Yujun at the same time, the relationship between the 2 women became much more harmonious. They held hands and walked together in the Yang family's land. When the clansmen saw them, they first showed a surprised look, but soon became happy. When Yang Wu saw them coming together, he was also stunned. The 2 women's current strength was extraordinary, and they were both top-notch saints. Moreover, their temperaments were somewhat similar. If they really wanted to argue about it, they would probably fight. But now they were like sisters, and this was somewhat unexpected. What are you looking at? Do you think we will fight? Wan Lanxin glanced at Yang Wu and said. She was wearing a blue muslin dress, and her graceful figure was beyond doubt. Her hair was pinned with sparkling and translucent hair ornaments, which made her appear noble and generous. Shu Yujun was wearing a capable tight martial suit, which set off her full figure and incisively and vividly. In terms of figure, she was sexier than Wan Lanxin, but Wan Lanxin was taller than her. The two women could be said to have their own characteristic. In comparison, the two of them were not as stunning as Yu Yu and Xianyuan Huowu, but they also had their own charm and fragrance. Shu Yujun said with a smile, "My husband is the world's #1 martial saint. Little sister Lanxin, you can't scare him like this. If this were to spread, it would be too embarrassing." Shu Yujun was older than Wan Lanxin, so there was no problem for her to call her that. In fact, the two of them were older than Yang Wu. In their eyes, Yang Wu was a living little fresh meat. One of them had followed Yang Wu wholeheartedly when they were in the mortal world. The other was willing to accompany Yang Wu through life and death when he first came to the transcendent world. The two of them had deep feelings for Yang Wu, and Yang Wu also loved them deeply. Neither of them could give up or abandon each other. Yang Wu touched his nose and said with a smile, "What's there to be embarrassed about? Even if I'm more powerful and can beat all the opponents in the world, I'm still not a match for the two madams." Then he looked up at the dark sky and said, "Madams, it's getting late. Shouldn't we go back and rest?" Between husband and wife, sleeping together at night, this was a matter of course. Now, Yang Wu's two wives were in front of him. He couldn't help but imagine some embarrassing things with the three of them together, which instantly made him feel excited. The two women saw Yang Wu's wretched smile and knew what he was thinking. The two women's faces instantly turned red. "Sister Lan Xian, accompany your husband tonight. I'm still not very familiar with this place." Shu Yujun casually found an excuse and said. Wan Lanxin also felt a little uneasy. She said, "Sister Yujun just arrived. You should let your husband accompany you to familiarize yourself. I won't be accompanying you." After saying that, she wanted to leave by herself. Unexpectedly, Yang Wu grabbed her hand and said, "Lan Xian, don't be anxious. I have something to say to the two of you. Let's drink and talk together tonight. I promise I won't do anything else, okay?" Suddenly, Yang Wu felt that his excuse was really good. It was really good. Drinking wine and talking about love in the boudoir was the most wonderful thing in the world. The two women actually couldn't refuse Yang Wu's suggestion. Their husband had seriously invited them, so how could they not give him face? Just like that, Yang Wu brought the two of them back to the bamboo courtyard. They drank wine and admired the moon together. As they admired the moon, they also hid in the clouds with the bright moon. They were so embarrassed that they didn't want to see anyone else. The spring breeze blew a few times that night, and the sound of the bamboo was unheard. Chapter 1596. Ever since Yang Wu returned to the Yang family, the Yang family's aura grew with each passing day. The aura they gathered became denser and denser. There were clansmen who kept breaking through to new realms, and there were many newborn babies who attracted quite a few strange phenomena. They were all born with the potential to cultivate. This meant that the Yang family's new generation of disciples had outstanding talent. When they grew up, they would be incomparably strong. The Yang family's changes were not only seen by the Yang family, the people of the war race could clearly see it. The powers that had enmity with the Yang family were all panicking. If the Yang family was allowed to continue like this, the Yang family would surpass all of their powers. At that time, they would become a giant power. When that time came, how would they be able to resist them? It was a pity that they couldn't come up with any good countermeasures. After all, Yang Wu was the heaven's chosen son. He had increased the level of the transcendent realm and obtained large amounts of resources. He had increased the living space of all living beings and had done a very amazing thing. They could only wait for Yang Wu to head to the God realm so that they wouldn't have to be so worried. As for whether Yang Wu would go to the God realm or not, they would know in 3 years. Would Yang Wu go to the God realm? At least 99% of the people thought that Yang Wu would definitely go to the God realm. As the heaven's chosen son, the world's #1 saint, how could he stay in the transcendent realm forever? Only when he went to the God realm would he have a wider stage to become stronger and become a god of the God realm. The people of the Yang family also knew that Yang Wu might leave the transcendental realm, so they had been doing their best to increase their strength in the past few years, seizing all sorts of opportunities. Otherwise, if Yang Wu left, the transcendental realms would probably no longer care for their Yang family. When that happened, it would be easy for them to decline. Yang Wu indeed wanted to leave the transcendent realm, but before that, he had to take care of his family and his loved ones. The first thing he had to do was to find his son Xietian. Now that he had obtained the recognition of the transcendent realm's will, he could go anywhere in the transcendent realm in an instant. He could already be considered half a god of the transcendent realm. This kind of ability, only he had it. No one else had this qualification, not even the top Overlord level characters. Otherwise, the guardians of the transcendent world would not want to follow him. Yang Wu communicated with the transcendent world will and told it what Xietian looked like, hoping that it could bring him to Xietian. In the end, the feedback from the transcendent world will was that Xietian was no longer in the transcendent world. Not in the transcendent world anymore? Could it be that he went to the God realm? He clearly didn't enter the top 1,000, could it be? Yang Wu muttered to himself. He suspected that Xietian's master came from the God realm and brought Xietian to the God realm. As for what exactly happened, he couldn't figure it out. His heart was very depressed, but he still had the transcendent worlds will pay attention. Once they found Xietian, they would bring him over. After that, Yang Wu had the transcendent worlds will sense the whereabouts of the Rose of Death. The Rose of Death was a woman who had helped him in the mortal world. He also had a trace of inexplicable feelings towards her. After all, his Tao of Death was because of her. Before, when the King of Hell's palace used the Rose of Death to lure him in, he didn't go and had Yu Huijin go save her. In the end, he didn't find her. Now, the transcendent worlds will had found her and directly transferred him over. When Yang Wu appeared in this strange and terrifying place, he was instantly stunned. He suspected that he had come to hell. There were terrifying corpses here, filled with corrosive corpse qi and death qi. Not only were there human corpses, there were also corpses of demons, and other races. There were all kinds of corpses, some complete corpses, some broken corpses, some with only a layer of skin left, and some with only a skeleton left. It was very sinister and terrifying. Even if Yang Wu was used to seeing all kinds of scenes, he still had the urge to vomit when faced with this kind of hell. Other than that, when he saw the bodies of some infants, he was completely enraged. What kind of place is this? Why is it so despicable? Yang Wu secretly cursed in his heart. He came to find the Rose of Death, so he couldn't help wondering if she had met with some kind of accident? Soon, he saw the Rose of Death. She was actually dealing with the corpses here with the other black-clothed people. The people here didn't discover his existence. His position was very hidden, and he had also restrained his aura, so it wasn't that easy to be discovered. After discovering the black-clothed people, Yang Wu paid more attention to hiding his aura. In this unknown place, it was better to be careful. He didn't think that just because he had become the world's greatest sage, he could ignore the creatures of the transcendent world. This was very unlikely. He was sure that this place was convenient for the 100 Hell King Palace's Death Mountain Range. Previously, Yu Huijin had investigated this place, and there was a big secret here. At present, Yang Wu didn't have the time to care about the big secret in the Death Mountain Range. He only wanted to know what happened to the Rose of Death. He could still feel her aura. She was still alive, but her entire body was filled with death qi, as if she didn't have much life left. Moreover, her every move here was very strange, as if she was a walking corpse that had lost her spirit. It seems like she's being controlled. Yang Wu concluded. He didn't act rashly to save her. Instead, he continued to observe the situation here to see what kind of place it was. After carefully sensing, he found that every corpse here was arranged according to a formation. In the center of the many corpses, there was a huge blood pit, which seemed to be nurturing some kind of special life form. Yang Wu couldn't help but think of the situation in the mountain prison. There was also a blood pit that locked Wang Jiuchong in, and at the same time, nurtured the prenatal mysterious essence qi. However, the blood pit in front of him was many times bigger than the one in the mountain prison. Moreover, there were countless times more corpses, and their levels were very high. The rows of death and the black-clothed people were busy arranging the corpses. The corpses seemed to have fallen from the sky. Occasionally, piles of corpses would fly over, forming a mountain of corpses. Very quickly, the black-clothed people separated and organized them. Everything was carried out around the deep pit. Yang Wu opened his soul eye and looked at the deep pit. He suddenly found that there was a huge shadow floating in the deep pit, as if it was nurturing a peerless demon. Its demonic aura was incomparably shocking, and its aura was equally shocking. He seemed to see countless living beings crying and wailing. Their lives were being mercilessly devoured one by one. It was a true peerless demon. Yang Wu's heart beat rapidly as he secretly thought, "This is a true demon." He couldn't help thinking of the divination of the divine mathematician. The divine fetus and the demon seed referred to Yang Zixing and Xie Tian respectively. However, he now felt that the peerless demon in the blood pit in front of him was the true demon seed. Thinking of this, he prepared to destroy the blood pit. He definitely couldn't let it appear in the world, otherwise it would cause a great calamity. He sensed the situation around him and found that this place was incomparably hidden, as if it was completely isolated from the outside world. He also didn't sense a particularly strong aura. He steeled his heart and sneaked over, preparing to destroy the blood pit. At this moment, he already couldn't care too much about the Rose of Death. He would deal with it after destroying the blood pit and bringing her away. Seeing that he was approaching the blood pit, a voice rang out, "Intruder, kill!" This voice was ethereal and incomparably hoarse. It was unknown where it came from. The Rose of Death and the other black-clothed people all released waves of demonic aura. They looked in the direction of Yang Wu and attacked Yang Wu. These people weren't weak, but they were nothing in front of Yang Wu. Yang Wu didn't care about them at all and dodged their attack. He held the black wok and injected immortal energy into it before angrily smashing it into the blood pit. "Destroy for me!" Yang Wu roared. The black wok was a true divine weapon. After he injected his immortal qi, it could explode with an incomparably shocking power. Especially when he used all his strength, even a large area of land would be directly smashed by his wok. Yang Wu had become the #1 martial saint in the world. With a divine weapon, his battle prowess was comparable to that of an overlord. He indeed had the ability to do whatever he wanted in the transcendent world. He didn't believe that he couldn't do anything to this blood pit. However, just as the black wok was about to smash down, a powerful force suddenly swept up from the blood pit, forming a huge bloody palm that fiercely slammed onto the black wok. Bang! The black wok was directly sent flying by this bloody palm. Yang Wu was shaken by the recoil force and vomited blood as he was sent flying. He revealed a shocked expression. This is the power of the divine chain. A true God realm creature? Only a true God-level life form would be able to break through his attack so easily. However, he quickly confirmed that this shouldn't be a true God realm creature. It should be an expert that possessed the power of the divine chain. Having the divine chain was equivalent to having a trace of a true God's might. Yang Wu also had the divine chain, but he still didn't know how to use it. It was normal that he couldn't explode with the might of a true God. Perhaps after he broke through the Jade Moon realm, He could comprehend a thing or two. That bloody palm once again enveloped him. Yang Wu had no choice but to block the attack with the black wok. Without the black wok, he wouldn't be able to withstand the power of the other party's palm. Another palm fell, and Yang Wu was sent flying far away. What a powerful physique! Your blood energy can make me even more perfect. That ethereal voice sounded again. The bloody palm turned into a claw and grabbed at Yang Wu. 4 wings suddenly grew out of Yang Wu's back. He turned into a bolt of lightning and swept in the direction of the Rose of Death. However, this bloody claw was even faster. How could it let him touch the Rose of Death so easily? Transcendent worlds will, help me take her away. Helpless, Yang Wu could only summon the power of the Transcendent World's will. If even the power of the Transcendent World's will couldn't help him, then he would be in trouble. Fortunately, the Transcendent World's will did indeed have extraordinary power. It swept Yang Wu and the Rose of Death away on the spot. The creature in the blood pit was stunned for a moment and muttered, "One with heaven and earth, the chosen one?" Chapter 1597. Yang Wu brought the Rose of Death out of the Death Mountain range and returned to the wilderness in the Yang clan's territory. The Rose of Death was shrouded in death energy. Her life force was getting weaker and weaker. Her originally beautiful appearance was now extremely old and damaged. Yang Wu's heart ached when he saw her like this. "Let me see what happened to you," Yang Wu murmured and absorbed all the death energy in her body. Others were afraid of death energy, but he could absorb it without any problems. The death energy disappeared from the Rose of Death's body, and she seemed to have regained a trace of clarity. Her eyes emitted a trace of confusion as she instinctively sent a palm strike towards Yang Wu. She wasn't strong, so how could she injure Yang Wu? Yang Wu gently knocked her out and his soul entered her divine courtyard. He could immediately determine that she was being controlled by someone else. Her soul was wrapped in skeleton-like incantations, causing her soul to be unable to move. Her soul force was also being devoured. No wonder she was so abnormal. Before Yang Wu could eliminate these skeletons, they gathered into a demonic face and stared at Yang Wu. "You have guts. You dare to touch my puppet? I'll control you as well." This demonic face devoured Yang Wu. The soul force it carried was very powerful. Even ordinary saint souls wouldn't be able to resist it. Yang Wu threw a punch at the demonic face and shattered it. He continued to attack and destroyed the remaining soul force of the demonic face. He didn't pay attention to the origin of this demonic face and who did it. Everything would be clear once he woke up the Rose of Death. After the Rose of Death lost the control of someone else's incantations, she could regain her consciousness. Yang Wu wasn't in a hurry to wake her up. He took out a soul spring and fed it to her, allowing her soul to recover. He then fed her the holy spring to restore her life force. The Rose of Death was at the Star Rune realm and had a tenacious life force. After the soul spring and holy spring were used together, her life force began to recover. Half a day later, she gradually regained consciousness. When she saw Yang Wu, her eyes were filled with disbelief as she said, It's you who saved me? Are you alright?" Yang Wu replied softly. At this moment, his heart was incomparably complicated. He couldn't wait to return to the Death Mountain range and flatten the King of Hell's palace. Even though the Rose of Death had regained her vitality, she still looked very haggard. It was heartbreaking to look at her. The Rose of Death revealed a bitter expression and said, "Look at me, okay? Why don't you just let me die? Can you tell me what happened? What's there to say? They wanted your life, but you didn't fall for it, so they took it out on me. Who are they? Don't ask. Even if you know, what good will it do you? They are too strong. Although you are very powerful, you are still far from them. Is that what you think? Then how did I save you?" "Yeah, how did you save me?" After Yang Wu and the Rose of Death talked for a while, the Rose of Death became tired. He didn't have the nerve to ask any more questions and let her continue recovering. Unfortunately, the Rose of Death actually wanted to commit suicide. Fortunately, Yang Wu reacted quickly and stopped her in time. "What are you doing?" Yang Wu shouted. "Let me die. I can't live." The Rose of Death revealed a look of despair. "You are one of my people. Have you asked me if you want to die?" Yang Wu retorted. "When did I become one of your people?" The Rose of Death asked, puzzled. Yang Wu replied, "I went through untold hardships to save you from the Death Mountain Range. Of course you are one of my people. You will be my slave for the rest of your life." The Rose of Death grabbed her hair and said, "If you came earlier, I would have been willing to be your slave. Now that I am about to die, I can't help you with anything. Let me die. I don't want to be controlled by them anymore." "Who said you would be controlled by them? I have already erased the talisman in your divine court. I have also expelled the death aura from your body. Do you still feel uncomfortable?" I'm old. I don't deserve you." The Rose of Death cried bitterly. Once, when they were in the mortal world, there was also a story between them. She had already developed a trace of inexplicable feelings for him. However, after she comprehended the Tao of Death, she returned to the transcendent world and broke off this relationship. There was a huge gap between the transcendent world and the mortal world. She didn't think that she could be together with Yang Wu. Moreover, she was only a death warrior nurtured by the king of Hell's palace. Now, Yang Wu risked his life to save her. She was incomparably moved and wanted to be his slave. However, she didn't want Yang Wu to see her old and ugly face all day long. She despised herself very much. "So it's about this matter. I thought you were seeking death for them." Yang Wu laughed. "Leave. I don't want to see you again." She saw him laughing heartlessly and felt like her heart was being cut by a knife. "Don't forget that I am a divine alchemist. It shouldn't be too difficult to refine a divine pill for you to regain your youth," Yang Wu said again. This time, the Rose of Death's gaze was filled with anticipation. If she could recover her appearance, she naturally didn't want to die. Just like this, the Rose of Death was pacified by Yang Wu. She didn't want to die for the time being. After she adjusted her state of mind, she told him about the situation in the King of Hell's palace. Unfortunately, after she was controlled, some of the memories in her soul were erased. She couldn't remember everything and couldn't speak clearly. She only knew that the powerful creatures in the King of Hell's palace's death domain would be killed and thrown into the depths of the Death Mountain Range. That was the forbidden area of the King of Hell's palace. No one could easily enter. She was only sent there after she was controlled. The King of Hell's palace was very ambitious. They wanted to kill all the powerful creatures in the various domains and throw their corpses into the Death Mountain Range. They wanted to replenish the death energy there or nurture a special powerful life form. Yang Wu pieced this information together and thought about the situation in the blood pit. He suspected that the blood pit was definitely a demon seed that the King of Hell's palace deliberately nurtured. Once the demon seed was born, this world would be plunged into misery and suffering. This matter is too big. It seems that I need to go to the divination pavilion. After Yang Wu thought of this, he brought the Rose of Death directly to the divination pavilion. The divination pavilion was the #1 pavilion in the world. It wasn't a place where anyone could come and go as they pleased. Moreover, they had set up a powerful divine formation that completely isolated the divination pavilion. Even a god-level creature would die if they tried to force their way in. Yang Wu was the chosen one. If he wanted to find the divination master, no divine formation would be able to stop him. The #1 pavilion in the world. In fact, other than the building being a bit more outstanding, everything else was just like a commoner's residence. There was no difference. When Yang Wu appeared here, he attracted the attention of the people here. The people here had always been paying attention to the matters of the world. They couldn't be more familiar with Yang Wu's appearance. After seeing Yang Wu, they didn't panic. Instead, they slightly bowed to Yang Wu and quietly left. Yang Wu sighed in his heart. Worthy of being a member of the divination pavilion. Even if the sky collapses, they won't panic. A Taoist riding a flying pig appeared and shouted, "Little Wu, you're finally here." Yang Wu didn't need to look to know who it was. It was the divination master's junior brother, Taoist Zhu. People outside said that Taoist Zhu wasn't very talented, but in Yang Wu's eyes, Taoist Zhu's abilities were no less than the divination master's. He had been traveling with Taoist Zhu for 10 years, but Taoist Zhu's performance had not been too shocking. However, after thinking back, he realized that Taoist Zhu had already made arrangements for many things, which had affected him greatly. This was also one of the reasons why he had requested the Spirit of the Realm Core to increase the level of the Transcendental World and increase the resources of the Transcendental World when he had become the first sage. "Old pig, did you know I was coming?" Yang Wu had been with Taoist Zhu for 10 years, so he spoke very casually. "I knew. Of course I knew. The purple air comes from the east. There must be an important guest. Other than you, who else can come to the divination pavilion?" Taoist Zhu stroked his horsetail whisk. "Okay, stop joking around. Is the divination master here? I have something to discuss with you," Yang Wu said seriously. "Why are you in such a hurry? Something big must have happened. Let's go to the divination pavilion. He's always there." Taoist Zhu pointed at a pavilion on the peak of a mountain. So, the group went to the first Under Heaven pavilion. Yang Wu landed on the top of the mountain, and just happened to see a flat land below. The field of vision was incomparably wide, and there was a feeling of standing at the top of the world, overlooking the common people of the world. This feeling was truly wonderful. The god diviner was sitting cross-legged on a rock. When he saw Yang Wu, he stood up and cupped his hands in greeting. "Greetings, Heaven's chosen one." Yang Wu bowed back and said, "You're too kind, Master Divination Master." Not only was the divine mathematician's seniority high, but he was also many times stronger than him. Yang Wu didn't dare to be careless. "You've been recognized by the will of the Transcendental Realm. You can be considered half a god in the Transcendental Realm. Everyone in the world has to bow to you when they see you. Even I am no exception," the divination master said honestly. "So what? I'm just a junior. How can I let an elder bow to me?" Yang Wu didn't care. He then said, "I'm here today to discuss something important with you. I've discovered the secret of Yama's palace." Yang Wu told the divination master and Taoist Zhu everything he saw in Yama's palace and what the Rose of Death said. After the divination master and Taoist Zhu heard this, their faces became serious. Then, they began to perform divination. Not long after, they looked in the direction of the Mountain of Death. Their faces became more and more gloomy. The divine fetus, the demon seed, and the grim reaper. After the transcendental realm leveled up, it will usher in a great catastrophe. No solution, no solution. Chapter 1598. Yang Wu always thought that the King of Hell's Palace's monster was the demon seed, but hearing what the divine mathematician and Taoist pig said, it seemed like the King of Hell's Palace's monster was not the demon seed, but rather the death god. It was in existence on the same level as the divine embryo and the demon seed. These three strange beings would change the structure of the transcendent realm. The rise of the transcendent realm would attract all kinds of powerful beings, but there were very few that could compare to them. Who would become the ruler of the transcendent realm would need to undergo an intense competition before it could be determined. Would it be the divine embryo, the demon seed, or the death god? Even the divine mathematician and Taoist pig did not have a clue. There were some things that were already out of their scope. However, Yang Wu said that Xie Tian was no longer in the transcendent realm, so he shouldn't be a threat to the transcendent realm. He also wouldn't be the demon seed, but the divine mathematician was still certain that the demon seed would harm the human world. If he went to the god realm, why would he harm the human world? Yang Wu emphasized. How do you know he went to the god realm? Why don't you think he went to another world? Taoist Pig asked from the side. Yang Wu raised a brow and said in a voice of surprise, "That's right, why didn't I think of this?" He always thought that Xie Tian had left and went to the God realm. Now that Taoist Pig had reminded him, it was very likely that he went to another world. If it was like this, perhaps Xie Tian would come back one day. Now that the level of the transcendent realm had just increased, everything needed time to settle down before it would become better. As for the original higher realms, they had more mature resources. As long as he went there, he might be able to quickly increase his realm. He was born in the transcendent realm, so he will never be able to become the ruler of another world. However, when he becomes stronger and returns, perhaps he will be like you, receiving the approval of the transcendent realm's will and becoming the ruler of the transcendent realm. The divine mathematician said. After pausing for a bit, he said, "Now that the death god has appeared, we must make a move. This death god is even more terrifying than the divine embryo and the demon seed. After all, he was already planning this. Perhaps it was the king of hell from the king's palace. We can't let this tumor remain in this world." "What plan do you have?" Yang Wu asked. "What plan could you possibly have?" Master God Diviner said, shrugging. "You're going to use your name to suppress King Yama's palace. What plan could you possibly have?" "That's good," Taoist Pig agreed. "Isn't this too shameless?" Yang Wu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "If you want the divine embryo and the devil seed to be fine, then you have to get rid of the Grim Reaper. Otherwise, they might not be able to defeat the Grim Reaper," Master God Diviner said. Yang Wu clapped and said, "Let's do it." There was no other way. When it came to Xie Tian's life or death, Yang Wu had no choice but to do it. The divine mathematician could not only predict the heavens and the earth, but he could also predict people's hearts. However, this matter had to be planned from a long-term perspective. It wasn't as simple as directly attacking Yama's palace. First, there had to be a convincing reason, and this reason was the Rose of Death. As long as the Rose of Death used their identity as a traitor of King Yama's palace to accuse Yama's palace of doing something that went against the heavens, everyone in the world would attack Yama's palace. At this point, even the divine divination house had to participate. They had a large influence and a large appeal, so as long as they announced this news, everyone in the world would believe them. At that time, what path would King Yama's palace have left? Yang Wu asked the Rose of Death for her opinion. She didn't care since she had already been abandoned by King Yama's palace, so if she didn't betray them now, when would she? The Rose of Death emphasized that the waters of King Yama's palace were very deep and they seemed to have a large connection to the God realm, so they couldn't be impulsive. Yang Wu and Master God Diviner didn't care that much. Those giant powers, which one of them didn't have a connection to the God realm. If they didn't move against King Yama's palace because of this and allowed King Yama's palace to continue like this, giving birth to a Grim Reaper, then all life in the transcendent realm would be buried with it. Before that, they had to figure out the situation in the Death region and whether it had already become a land of death. Long ago, the Divine Divination House had already received some information, but they hadn't been able to send too many experts to the Death region. That was King Yama's palace's territory, so even the Divine Divination House was somewhat afraid. Now that Yang Wu could come and go as he pleased in the transcendent realm, this matter was naturally left to him. After he went to every place in the Death region, he discovered that there were indeed many powerful life forms that were inexplicably killed and their corpses taken away. When Yang Wu saw people from King Yama's palace making a move on these life forms, he couldn't help but directly obliterate the team from King Yama's palace. King Yama's palace must be eliminated. Yang Wu secretly made up his mind. Under the manipulation of the Divine Divination House, rumors of a crusade against King Yama's palace were raised. First, the Divine Divination House released the news that most of the life forms in the Death region were dead. Then, Yang Wu released the news of the betrayal of the Rose of Death, announcing the evil deeds of King Yama's palace to the world. He also claimed that King Yama's palace was planning to exterminate the life forms in other realms. They were brewing a plan to destroy the world, and if they weren't eliminated, King Yama's palace would plunge the transcendent realm into misery and suffering. When this news spread, it caused some criticism in various realms, but it didn't cause any big movements. The various powers were quite far away from the Death region, so they couldn't sense the changes in the Death region at all. Even if what the Divine Divination House said was true, it didn't seem to have anything to do with them, so why should they get involved in this muddy water? It had always been the bad habit of the human race to mind their own business. There were also some powers that had always believed in the Divine Divination House's news and responded to the Divine Divination House's call. In addition, the response of Yang Wu's call was greater than that of the Divine Divination House. Powers like the Xianyuan clan, Empress clan, Sun clan, Five Mountain sect, and other powers of the War clan were all willing to contribute. There were also some powers that were previously willing to ally with the Yang family, who were also willing to join in the crusade against King Yama's palace. Today, King Yama's palace is doing something that goes against the heavens and against humanity. They're using the lives of many living beings to nurture a ferocious death god. Most of the living beings in the Death region have already been killed by them. If we don't kill this death god in advance, he'll devour even more lives. In the end, he'll devour all the living beings in the entire transcendent realm. When that time comes, no one will be his match. I, Yang Wu, earnestly request that everyone contribute to uproot King Yama's palace and eliminate the death god. Yang Wu's voice was mighty and mighty, spreading throughout the various realms of the transcendent realm. Every living being could hear it. This time, all the living beings were in an uproar. Yang Wu's move was too shocking. Even a divine-level expert wouldn't be able to do it. Could it be that Yang Wu had really become a god in the transcendent realm? He had borrowed the power of the transcendent realm's will and influenced the decisions of many living beings. Many living beings began to respond. The god has appeared. We must respect the god's will and get rid of King Yama's palace. I've long found King Yama's palace an eyesore. They should be removed from the transcendent realm. Yang Wu is the first saint in our human world. He has helped our transcendent realm to reach a higher level. His words are the god's decree. We should obey. From today onwards, there won't be a King Yama's palace anymore. King Yama's palace is an evil influence to begin with. However, they're too powerful and no one can do anything to them. Today, Lord Yang Wu has given the order. We'll contribute our efforts to suppress King Yama's palace. Suppress King Yama's palace. Just like that, living beings from all over the world, including humans, foreign races, demonic beasts, and many other influences, headed in the direction of King Yama's palace. Yang Wu's rallying power was too strong. More and more living beings rushed over, causing more and more commotion. Regardless of whether they were small saints or true saints, even heaven-reaching experts, all of them headed over. As the initiator, Yang Wu naturally brought the Black Tortoise and Azure Dragon armies of the Yang family to the Death Mountain range. Logically speaking, the Yang family should seize the time to recuperate and strengthen themselves. However, they were rushing to fight against King Yama's palace. In the eyes of others, it was unwise. However, this was the first battle after Yang Wu became the first saint. Everyone wanted to see how capable Yang Wu was and how he suppressed the martial saints of other realms to become the first saint. This time, Yang Wu did not only have Yu Huaijin and Yu Chang'an, the two heaven-reaching experts by his side. Wuguna and Wugu led a troop of 30,000 crows. The two giants, Gobi and Gore, could not sit still. They wanted to take this opportunity to see the transcendent realm's scenery. The Yang family moved the fastest and fiercest. The other battle clans also brought their troops to support. The Sun family was the first to arrive. Sun Tiezhen brought a troop of 10,000 people to support them. It could be said that he was giving Yang Wu face. Elder Sun, Thank you for your trouble, Yang Wu said gratefully after seeing Sun Tiezhen. Clan leader Yang Wu, you don't need to be so polite. It is our duty to deal with those evil forces, Sun Tiezhen said heroically. Yes, if it wasn't a tragic matter, I wouldn't ask everyone to do this. Believe me, King Yama's palace must be eliminated, Yang Wu said solemnly. Of course I believe you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought people here. Sun Tiezhen smiled. Not long after, the Empress's people also brought a troop of 10,000 people. After Sun Tiezhen saw this, he could not help but be surprised. He had always known that the Empresses and the Yang family had an alliance. However, he had never seen the Empress's people interact with the Yang family warmly. Now that he saw the Empress's heaven-reaching expert bring a troop of 10,000 people, he could confirm that the alliance was true. Yang Wu and heaven-reaching expert of the Empress's nodded and did not say anything. The Empress's alliance with the Yang family was not an agreement with the Yang family. It was Yang Wu who forced them to form an alliance. They wanted to change the side effects of their bloodline and had no choice but to ask him for help. The operation to eliminate King Yama's palace erupted. Chapter 1599. The King of Hell's palace was a giant force. They were an evil force, and it was unknown how many forces wanted to get rid of them. However, they were too powerful. Regardless of whether it was the heaven-reaching old monster or the saints, there were countless of them. They had gathered a large wave of evil spirits and were very powerful. There was once a first-rate force that offended the King of Hell's palace and was completely annihilated by the King of Hell's palace overnight. Since then, no force dared to provoke the King of Hell's palace. The King of Hell's palace kept a low profile. Other than a few evil people who did evil outside, the people in the King of Hell's palace rarely caused trouble elsewhere. It was enough for them to rule the Death region. Of course, if they wanted to kill someone, they would definitely not live past 5. There were exceptions, such as Yang Wu. He was still alive even after the King of Hell's decree was issued. It could only be said that Yang Wu had broken the rule. Now, Yang Wu had called for everyone to go against the King of Hell's palace. In the eyes of others, this was Yang Wu's revenge against the King of Hell's palace. The others did not care if Yang Wu had his own intentions. A giant force like the King of Hell's palace was not easy to deal with. However, it should not be difficult to eliminate them with the help of all the forces in the world. There was no need for Yang Wu to do it personally. Also, Xiang Dingtian from the Apothecary Alliance would not sit by and do nothing. With the help of the Divination Tower, everyone thought that they would succeed. When they charged towards the Death Mountain, the 2 kings of Hell from the King of Hell's palace led a large group of people to welcome them. King Yama Ox and King Yama Ma were 2 powerful overlords in the King of Hell's palace. They were second only to their palace master, King of Hell. King of Hell was a top figure on the same level as Xiang Dingtian. He had not fought for many years and was only ranked in the top 6. However, no one dared to underestimate him. After all these years of accumulation, he might already be comparable to the top 3 figures. King Yama Ox and King Yama Ma led 1,000,000 evil and fierce bandits and waited for battle. They looked like they were going to fight with all the forces in the world. Usually, no living beings dared to come near their territory. Today, it was so lively that they were a little nervous. However, they could not disobey the orders of King of Hell. They could only brace themselves. There were not only 1,000,000 soldiers here, but also many different living beings. They formed a strong defense line and sealed every corner of the Death Mountain. These creatures were all races controlled by the King of Hell's palace over the years. There were foreign races, demons, and beast tamers among them as well. Their numbers had reached 3,000,000. This was the powerful foundation of a major force. If anyone dared to touch them, it would be a situation where they would fight to the death. Yang Wu stood on the silver-patterned tortoise with Yang Ba on his left and Su Chu on his right. Behind them were Wan Lanxin, Shu Yujun, Lu Ji, Nan, White-haired Demoness, Yang Chaowei, and other powerful saints. Army, army, army. Army, army. This number was still far from the King of Hell's palace. However, these 100,000 soldiers were all elites with great battle prowess. Each one of them could fight against 100. In addition, there were close to 100 other powerful forces. Each force had more than 10,000 people. In total, there were 1,000,000 people. Among them, the Xianyuan clan sent the most people. Like the Yang clan, they sent 100,000 soldiers to help Yang Wu. They gave enough face. Xianyuan Huowu came in person. Yang Wu also saw Xianyuan Yujun. This woman who had mistaken him for Yang Baiqiang seemed to have returned to the Xianyuan clan. Xianyuan Yujun's face was covered, and her aura was completely restrained. No one knew how strong she was. Yang Wu knew that this woman who had the power of the divine chain was not to be underestimated. She might be an important weapon to deal with the death god in the blood pit. Xiang Dingtian also brought a dozen heaven-reaching old monsters. They hid in the void and would not show themselves easily. Once they appeared, it would be the time for an all-out war. With Yang Wu at the head, the 1,000,000 soldiers gathered in front of the Death Mountain. The two armies faced each other. Yama Ok said loudly, "Leave immediately. Otherwise, it will be seen as the most serious provocation. Anyone who attacks my King of Hell's palace will be killed without mercy. They have already forced us to the door. Why are we still talking nonsense with them? Let's just kill them and complete the mission King of Hell gave us." Yama Ma crossed his arms in front of his chest. "Your King of Hell's palace is inhumane. You have killed countless lives. Today I, Yang Wu, with the power of the transcendent world's will lead many heroes to suppress your King of Hell's palace. If you know what's good for you, surrender quickly and turn over a new leaf. I can give you a way out. Otherwise, today will be the day your souls die." Yang Wu said loudly. "Yang Wu, do you really think that you can disregard our King of Hell's palace just because you have become the greatest saint? I will kill you now." Yama Ma shouted and took out a divine weapon. A cold arrow shot towards Yang Wu's direction. God-slaying crossbow. "You are not qualified to use an arrow in front of my queen's family." An old god of archers from the queen's family rushed out and shot an arrow like a meteor towards Yama Ma's arrow. However, Yama Ma's arrow was extraordinary. It was a high-grade divine weapon and had a spirit. When the arrow of the old god of archers from the queen's family arrived, the arrow actually curved and bypassed the old god of archers' arrow and continued to shoot towards Yang Wu's direction. The speed of the arrow was too fast. Everyone only saw a flash of gray light, and it had already landed in front of Yang Wu. Yama Ma had the strength of an Overlord-class expert. If this arrow landed on Yang Wu, would Yang Wu still have a way out? However, Yang Wu did not lack Overlord-class experts. Yu Huijin immediately rushed out and broke the arrow. Clank! Sparks flew and the arrow fell to the ground. "You want to murder my young master? How could it be so easy?" The incomparably enchanting Yu Huijin appeared and flew towards Yama Ma's direction. Now, she had already received Yang Wu's favor and repaired all of her soul. She was no longer under Yang Wu's control. However, she was still willing to work for Yang Wu. After all, Yang Wu had already received the recognition of the transcendent realm and became half a god. In this world, there was no one who could do anything to Yang Wu. Yu Huijin knew that Yang Wu was also a disciple in name of the Medicine God Palace's venerable immortal. In the future, when he went to the divine world and joined the Medicine God Palace, he would definitely achieve meteoric success. His status would most likely be higher than hers. So what if she worked for him one last time? This little girl's skin is really not bad. Looking at her, I can't bear to kill you. Yama Ma said as he waved his arm and said loudly, "Kill all these people who trespassed into the Death Mountain range." On the other side, Yang Wu also ordered, "The people of Yama Palace are guilty of heinous crimes. None of them can be let off. Everyone, attack together and return the death domain to a pure land. Following Yang Wu's order, all the living beings in the surroundings began to move. This battle was a battle without much nonsense. In the eyes of both sides, it was a battle to the death. Yang Wu represented the will of the transcendent realm and the many forces to eliminate Yama Palace. Yama Palace was the one who was defending and was unwilling to back down. Naturally, they would fight to the death. The number of soldiers on Yang Wu's side seemed to be about the same as that of King of Hell's palace. In fact, there were more than 10 million soldiers rushing over one after another. These soldiers came from distant domains. Moreover, they were all watching the progress of this battle. Once Yang Wu was determined enough, they would throw themselves into the battle with all their might. In an instant, the battle cries were heard as the million-strong army fought in a frenzy. This was the territory of the King of Hell's palace, so they were naturally prepared. A terrifying death array was activated, and waves of divine power blasted towards the living beings on Yang Wu's side. A terrifying death aura swept out in all directions. This power was enough to give many living beings a headache. Yang Wu's side was not unprepared. The divination tower took out a divine map and divine light filled the sky, suppressing the death aura and resisting the suppression. Capture the leader first to capture the bandit. Wait for me to capture their Yama. Xiang Dingtian, who was in the void, shouted and flew towards the depths of the Death Mountain range. Xiang Dingtian was an expert ranked in the top 10 of the Overlord ranking. He was extremely powerful. In the blink of an eye, he landed on the top of the Death Mountain range and slammed a fiery palm towards the Death Mountain range. The palm's shadow that was filled with monstrous firepower fell down like a natural disaster. Its power was extremely terrifying. At the same time, a black palm print came up. Bang! Those who offend Yama Palace will be killed. A black shadow flew out and collided with Xiang Dingtian. This was the super-strong foundation of Yama Palace, and also the reason why they were able to stand strong until now. On the other side, an overlord from the Xianyuan tribe was fighting with Yama. Yu Huijin was fighting with Yamama. Grand Tutor Zhua from the Five Mountains sect was also challenging another overlord from Yama Palace. Grand Tutor Zhua came from Mount Song and had originally decided not to come out of seclusion. However, after Yang Wu became the chosen one, he quickly acknowledged Shu Yu as the alliance leader and was willing to work for Yang Wu. Yang Wu's potential was too strong, and it was not a loss to bet on him. Grand Tutor Zhua's temperament was indeed extraordinary. In addition, the experts from Mount Song, Shaolin Temple, Wudong, and other overlords all moved and fought with Yama Palace. Yang Wu rode the silver-patterned tortoise and did not stay idle. He charged towards the center of the Death Mountain range. He opened his soul eye and looked at the flaws of the divine array. He held the black walk and smashed it madly. While the divine map was suppressing the divine array, he broke the divine array. Lu Ji also opened his yin-yang pupil and broke the divine array with Yang Wu. The death qi here was extremely dense. Any living being that came in contact with it would have their lifespan affected. They had to suppress the death qi. How could Yama Palace allow them to break the divine array so easily? Three seemingly ordinary overlords suddenly erupted with divine realm strength and charged towards Yang Wu. These three overlords hid their strength very well. In the eyes of others, they only had the strength of a minor saint. However, they suddenly attacked and took out a terrifying killing weapon, putting Yang Wu in danger. Sky Shield, Earth Cone, Human Pincer. Chapter 1600. Heaven, Earth, and Man Tripartite God-Killing Formation. These three divine masters weren't weak, but it wouldn't be easy for them to kill Yang Wu. However, they had ancient divine weapons in their hands, which were treasured divine items from the King of Hell's palace. They had all been summoned to form the tripartite god-killing formation to seal Yang Wu. How could Yang Wu withstand it? The sky shield came down, and Yang Wu had nowhere to hide. The earth spike shot up from the ground and went straight for Yang Wu's vitals. The man pincer came at him from the waist, sealing off all of Yang Wu's escape route. Yang Wu had already thrown out the black pot, and it was too late for him to pull it back and block it. He could only block it with his strength. The black tortoise battle armor appeared on his body, and he pulled out the Big Dipper sword and slashed left and right. Boom, boom, boom. A series of saber lights and sword shadows exploded together. Yang Wu's defensive battle armor was destroyed, and the earth spike pierced his thigh, but it was blocked by the Emperor Jade battle armor. The man pincer was blocked by the Big Dipper sword, and the sky shield fell on Yang Wu's head, wanting to turn Yang Wu's head into a pool of blood. Yang Wu's soul eye stared at the divine master controlling the sky shield, and a terrifying soul-destroying power forcibly broke into the other party's divine court, killing his soul directly. At the same time, the nether ice-winged blade flew out and cut the other party's body in half. The divine master controlling the sky shield didn't expect Yang Wu's talent to be so strong, and he was killed on the spot. The sky shield lost its power, and the pressure on Yang Wu was greatly relieved. The nether ice-winged blade slashed at the divine master controlling the earth spike, and his soul eye shot at the divine master controlling the man pincer. At the same time, Yang Wu unleashed the star-swallowing sword Dao, and a majestic sword Qi swept out in all directions, killing the two people in front of him on the spot. Yang Wu's combat strength was comparable to an Overlord class expert, and he wasn't someone they could kill at any time. As soon as he killed the 3 invincible heavens, 8 more puppets rushed toward him and self-detonated at the same time. This was still a god-grade puppet. It was a life form from the demon race. The power of their self-explosion was extremely terrifying. Even Yu Chang'an, who was not far from Yang Wu's side, had a change in expression. He loudly shouted, "Patriarch!" Yang Wu had experienced such self-detonations many times, so how could he not react? At the moment when the puppets self-detonated, he had already teleported away with the help of the transcendent world's will. It could be said that in this world, he could teleport as he wished. No one could stop him. These people are just stalling for time here so that we can quickly enter the heart of the Death Mountain range, Yang Wu roared. In the next moment, he kept changing his position. The Big Dipper sword in his hand kept reaping the lives of the evil cultivators here. The King of Hell's palace had millions of people, and there were also millions of other life forms. Unfortunately, compared to the millions of elites on Yang Wu's side, they were still far inferior. The experts sent by each side were all above minor saint realm, and there was no lack of saints and invincible old monsters. The number of experts was the key to victory. Yang Wu's side completely suppressed the people of King of Hell's palace, forcing the people of King of Hell's palace to retreat step by step. They were closing in on the heart of the Death Mountain range. However, no one noticed that the more people died here, the denser the death chi was. The blood that fell to the ground also quietly seeped into the ground and disappeared. It was quite strange. Everyone was fighting with their lives on the line. How could they have the time to care about this matter? Even Yang Wu didn't have the time to care about it. His mind was constantly thinking about how to bring everyone to the heart of the Death Mountain range and destroy the blood pit. In the heart of the Death Mountain range, the blood chi in the blood pit became denser and denser. A blood shadow slowly appeared, and finally condensed into a blood infant full of evil chi. The blood infant sneered and said, "Haha, my second physical body has finally condensed. It's all thanks to the Chosen One." At this moment, all the corpses in this space floated up. Countless blood chi and death chi gathered towards the blood infant, forming an extremely terrifying vision. After the blood infant came out, another person wearing a sinister mask came out of the blood pit and said faintly, "Now is not the time for you to be born. Of course I know, but I don't want to wait any longer. There is a lot of blood waiting for me to devour. I am the master of this world." The blood infant revealed a fanatical look. The masked man slapped the blood infant and shouted, The nucleus of the human world is what you want to seize. With the power of the nucleus, you will be the god of the human world. Even the invincible existences in the god realm and the immortal realm are not as powerful as the god of a world. Don't ruin things for me. Old man, you are really a wet blanket. Quickly go and deal with those guys outside. I want to drink blood. The blood infant responded. Deal with my ass. If they want to destroy Yama's palace, then let them. There is no use staying here now. Let's go. The masked man pulled the blood infant and quickly left. The blood infant shouted, What's the hurry? If we leave like this, they will keep chasing us. We have to leave some backup plans. You don't need to worry about that. When they attack here, there will naturally be backup plans waiting for them. When the people of Yama's palace were retreating, the forces that were watching from afar took the opportunity to attack. They joined Yang Wu's army and wiped out Yama's palace together. Yama's palace was a giant level force. The place where they were located must have rich resources. Now that Yama's palace was gone, those resources naturally belonged to them. The evil people of Yama's palace did not retreat immediately. Instead, they fought until the end. We, the people of Yama's palace, have never been afraid of anyone. Whoever wants to enter the mountain range will have to step over my body. You bastards! In the past, when you saw us, it was as if you had encountered a jink. You would scram as far as you can. Now, you dare to come over and shit on our heads? You really don't know what's good for you. I, the evil saint, am not someone you can hurt. I will kill you all. Since my debut, I have slaughtered 108,000 people. Even if I die here today, it will be worth it. In the end, these evil people were slaughtered one by one. Only a few wanted to escape, but they were all surrounded by the army. No one could escape. For example, Yama Ox and Yama Ma could not hold on any longer. Even if there were many old immortals in Yama's palace, they could not withstand the attacks of Yu Huijin, Xiang Dingtian, Grand Tutor Zhua, and the other overlords. These Yama's palace experts knew that they could not withstand it. They all retreated and activated the divine array to stop the encirclement. Yama's palace was like a dragon's pool and a tiger's den. After the divine array was activated, it released a terrifying destructive power in a large area, taking away hundreds of thousands of lives. Come, I want all of you to die with me. Yama Ox roared with a crazed look. Ba. Yama's palace has sinned too much. Today we cannot let you all live. An old Buddha from Shaolin smashed down with a golden alms bowl. A few old monks beside him also used their strength to activate the alms bowl to break the array. At the same time, Wudong's side also took out the Tai Chi diagram. Under the cooperation of many Tongtian experts, they also suppressed the mountain range. Xianyuan clan also sent out their divine items. Sun family, Five Mountains sect, and other powerful forces also sent out their divine items to attack the divine array. These divine arrays were powerful. However, under the joint attack of so many overlords, they finally collapsed. Yama Ox, Yama Ma, and the others knew that they could not hold on any longer. Since Yama did not come out, they could only escape. They were the deputy palace masters of Yama's palace. However, it did not mean that they would die with Yama's palace. Since there were people who could not live under the same sky with them, they naturally had to go after them. Yang Wu did not have time to care about them. He brought Yu Huijin and killed his way into the Death Mountain range. The people of Yama's palace were slaughtered. In the end, they could not do anything. Yang Wu and the others went straight in. They broke through layers of restrictions and came to the blood pit. There were still corpses everywhere. The people around were shocked. Bastards, these bastards are worse than pigs and dogs. Xiang Dingtian scolded. There were mountains of corpses. No matter who saw it, they would be angry. What is Yama's palace trying to do? There are at least 10 million corpses here. I am afraid that is not all of them. Many of them have already decayed. Sun Tiezhen sighed. Except for the blood pit. Grand Tutors was said softly. Then, he took the lead and slapped towards the blood pit. Grand Preceptor's woe was very powerful. It was not difficult for him to destroy the blood pit. However, when his palm was about to land on the blood pit, a blood palm flew out first. Not only did it block his palm power, but it also slammed towards them. This shocking blood palm was extremely overbearing. It was not something that ordinary people could block. "Watch out!" Xiang Dingtian shouted. He brought along a raging fire to meet the blood palm. Bang! Xiang Dingtian was still stronger than Grand Tutor's War. He blocked the blood palm. "How dare you break into Yama's palace? All of you will die." A hoarse voice resounded. A dreadful death chi swept out in all directions. Those corpses suddenly came to life and rushed towards the living beings in this area to kill them. This was a place of purgatory. Everyone felt like they were in hell. Those who were timid were scared out of their wit. Those who attacked here were all heaven-reaching old monsters. The weakest ones were saints. They still had the power to protect themselves. However, these corpses were just a bait. The real killing move was the terrifying formation here. Corpse chi and death chi gathered into blades and slashed towards everyone present. "Everyone, watch out!" Yang Wu shouted. However, he was still a little too slow. Some of the weaker saints and some heavenly sovereigns were drowned by the formation, and their bodies were pierced by countless corpse auras and sharp arrows. They screamed miserably and fell to the ground. Soon, their vitality was taken away and they died on the spot. "Don't waste any more time. Kill this guy!" Sun Jinjin shouted. "Kill!" Xiang Dingtian shouted. He raised the cauldron and slammed it into the blood pit. Yu Huijin also raised his scimitar and slashed towards the blood pit. A crimson shadow soared into the sky, carrying a crimson spear to meet the attack. This person was wearing a mask. It was Yama from Yama's palace. He was powerful. When the blood spear danced, the Tao of death was completely released. It made people feel the suffocating smell of death. Countless death chi turned into spears and blocked the attacks of Xiang Dingtian and Yu Huijin. This was a battle between top overlords. Chapter 1601. Was it Hades who was left in the blood pit? Neither Yang Wu nor Lu Ji dared to deny it. If it wasn't Hades, how could he have such shocking fighting power? He was using the power here to fight Xiang Dingtian and Yu Huijin. He wasn't at a disadvantage, and he seemed to have the upper hand. Hades was too domineering. Every move he made could trigger the way of death. Boundless death chi formed a death chi field, and all living things that got close to it would die. The living things that came over had all retreated far away. Even Yang Wu didn't dare to get close. He had a divine weapon, and he could fight against an overlord. However, compared to a top-tier overlord, he was still far from it. Pooh! Pooh! Xiang Dingtian and Yu Huijin flew out at the same time, and they both spat out blood. They were no match for Hades. Yu Huijin screamed, "God chain power! He's just a half-step true god. Take him down." Xiang Dingtian shouted unwillingly, and all of his power went into the medicine cauldron. The medicine cauldron kept getting bigger, and then it turned into a cauldron that attacked Hades. Yu Huijin didn't dare to be slow either. He raised his scimitar and attacked. The scimitar power was like a crescent moon. The overlord's power was terrifying. The space all around started to shake, and the area affected was getting bigger and bigger. Xiang Dingtian and Yu Huijin tried their best, but they couldn't suppress Hades' power. Hades had the advantage of location, and he could use countless death chi to increase his fighting power. The two of them were forced back again. Even Xiang Dingtian's medicine cauldron was slapped away, and it became dim. Yu Huijin was stabbed by a spear, and blood kept oozing out. "You don't know your place. I'll kill you all," Hades shouted, and continued to attack with his blood spear. "All of you, stand down." A beautiful figure flew over and shouted. In the next moment, many rocks fell from the sky, and they smashed towards Hades. These rocks were like meteorites, and their speed and power were overbearing. Ordinary people couldn't block them. "You think I'm scared of you?" Hades shouted, and his blood spear stabbed towards the rocks. However, this time, Blood's spear was obstructed and forced back by these rocks. Everyone could only see a beautiful figure dashing towards the battlefield. Her entire body was surrounded by a golden aura. Both of her fists punched out continuously. The domineering fist force shrouded downwards. The power was astonishing and frightening. Only a few people could see that this woman's fist power also contained the power of the God Chain. Once one comprehended the power of the God Chain, it was equivalent to having half a foot into the true God realm. Their power was extremely terrifying. Xiang Dingtian and Yu Huijin both retreated. Even they couldn't intervene in the battle. "She's from the Xianyuan family?" Xiang Dingtian murmured with a frown. Yang Wu replied, "She is Xianyuan Yujun." Xiang Dingtian thought for a while and said, "Never heard of it." 1,000 years ago, Xianyuan Yujun was indeed a genius, but she wasn't qualified to catch Xiang Dingtian's eye. In the 800 years she spent in the Tomb of War, her strength had increased instead of regressing. After comprehending the power of the divine chains, her strength had reached the level of an overlord. Combined with the power of the divine chains, she was more than enough to deal with Yama. Everyone was curious about Xianyuan Yujun's identity. She was definitely an invincible expert. When they heard that she was from the Xianyuan family, they all understood. Only such an ancient clan could nurture such an outstanding expert. They thought that Xianyuan Yujun and Yama would have a life and death battle, but not long after, they saw Xianyuan Yujun shatter Yama on the spot. Xianyuan Yujun didn't have it easy either. Yama had several bloody holes in her body, and she looked extremely ferocious. Death Chi also wrapped around her body, devouring her life force. Every living being was completely stunned. How could the arrogant Yama be smashed to death by a few rotten rocks? Only Yang Wu knew that those rocks were made of the God Chain. Their power was terrifying. Yama is dead. There's no need for this place to exist. Xianyuan Yujun ignored the injuries on her body and said. The stone shook again and smashed in all directions. Pung! Pung! This forbidden space was directly smashed by Xianyuan Yujun. The other creatures came to their senses and began to destroy this place as well. Most of them rushed towards Yama's palace to seize the treasures of Yama's palace. Yama's palace had existed for many years and left behind countless treasures. This was what they coveted. Many forces came with the idea of fishing in troubled waters. Now that there was such a good opportunity, how could they let it go? For the treasures of Yama's palace, these people once again fought in a chaotic battle. Yang Wu wasn't interested in this. Borrowing the power of the transcendent world's will, he announced loudly, Yama's palace will be removed from this place. When he announced this, he still felt that it was a little unreal. Although he had borrowed a lot of power to wipe out Yama's palace and had indeed destroyed it, he still felt a little uneasy in his heart. As a powerful force that had existed for millions of years, how could it have such a weak foundation? He suspected that before they came to attack Yama's palace had already made arrangements to retreat. Yama Ox, Yama Ma, and the others were just lulling them. He let Yu Huijin rush into the blood pit to search, but he didn't find anything out of the ordinary. He could only bring the Yang clan's army back. After Yang Wu called for so many experts to destroy Yama's palace, the forces that had grudges with Yang Wu started to panic. If Yang Wu called for so many experts to deal with them, would they still have a chance to live? These enemies included the Purple Cloud Palace, the Xing clan, and other major forces. Especially the Xing clan. Although they had the Lu clan as an ally, after the rise of the Yang clan, they slowly became weaker. These people were thinking of ways to repair their relationship with the Yang clan. Otherwise, it would be hard to say what would happen in the future. For this matter, they begged the Xianyuan clan, hoping that the Xianyuan clan would help them settle this matter. The Xianyuan clan was the leader of the 8 great battle clans. If they couldn't settle this matter, then it wouldn't be good. The Xianyuan clan wasn't a peacemaker either. Back when the Xing clan was aggressive towards the Yang clan, they didn't help the Yang clan at all. Now that the Yang clan had risen, they didn't have much reason to speak for the Xing clan. Everything depended on Yang Wu. Many forces were actually waiting for Yang Wu to leave the transcendent world. After destroying Yama's palace, Yang Wu returned to the fortune-telling tower and asked the 2 fortune-tellers to calculate Death God's situation. He was afraid that Death God wasn't dead yet. Under the combined efforts of the fortune-teller and Zhu Daoist, the result was unexpected. They couldn't calculate Death God's situation. It was as if there was a power that had blinded the heavens. Yang Wu didn't force them. He didn't stay there for long. He returned to the Yang clan and started to organize the affairs of the clan. He also chose a new clan leader. After he left, he could take up the role of the Yang clan's pillar. Now, the Yang clan's power had been established. There were many people who could be the pillars of the clan. However, there weren't many who wanted to take up the role of clan leader. The main reason was that they were still young and couldn't take up the responsibility. Just as Yang Wu was thinking about this, Shu Yujun reminded him, "My husband took up the role of clan leader at such a young age. How can others not take up the role? Do you think that no one in the clan can compare to you?" Shu Yujun's words woke Yang Wu up. Indeed, Yang Wu wasn't the only lucky person in the world. There were many lucky people who were as smart as he was. For example, Yang Zixing was the new incarnation of Yang Jinghai. He was also a god's fetus. He had a bright future. If he were to take up the role of clan leader, it would be like passing the position back to him. He was the most suitable candidate. All this time, Yang Wu felt that Yang Zixing was still childish and couldn't take up the role of clan leader. Now that he had calmed down, perhaps letting Yang Zixing take up the role of clan leader could help him awaken the memories of his previous life. Thinking of this, Yang Wu talked to Gong Xilan. Gong Xilan pondered for a moment and also felt that Yang Zixing was the most suitable candidate. However, there was no rush to announce this matter. They still had to observe for a while. In addition, the Yang clan had Yang Tianlin as a backup candidate and Yang Qinghu as a rising star. The Yang clan had a successor. Even if Yang Wu left, they wouldn't have to worry. As for the grudge with the Purple Cloud Hall, Yang Wu had already put it behind him. However, he still hadn't put down the grudge with the Xing clan. He felt that he had to pay a visit to the Xing clan. Over the years, the Xing clan hadn't declined. It was just that as the Yang clan rose in power, their powers seemed to have decreased. Yang Wu didn't think of using other powers to deal with the Xing clan. This was an internal matter of the War clan. How could he allow others to interfere? Time was of the essence. If he wanted to deal with the Xing clan, it wouldn't be done in a day. It would take 100 years for the Yang clan to become stronger. Since that was the case, he planned to buy 100 years for the Yang clan. He definitely wouldn't give the Xing clan the chance to be arrogant. Thinking of this, he teleported to the Xing clan's territory. He wanted to destroy the Xing clan's fire territory and break the Xing clan's foundation. In the past, his master had brought him to this fire territory and obtained the corrosive fire mystic essence from here. This proved that this fire territory was extraordinary. Now that he was here again, he still felt that this fire territory was extraordinary. The origin of this black flame was probably extraordinary. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to burn here without extinguishing. Yang Wu didn't have the ability to absorb all of this fire territory, but he could use the extraordinary world's willpower to disperse the fire territory's power and destroy its foundation. When the extraordinary world's level increased, this fire territory also benefited a lot. Its power increased by a lot. Yang Wu stood in front of this fire territory and mumbled, "Let's replenish Lan Yao's power first. Then, let this fire territory's power disappear completely." In the next moment, He used the extraordinary world's willpower to affect the Fire Territory's environment. The ground suddenly cracked. It was like an earthquake. It was unexpected. Boom, boom, boom. The Fire Territory had a god-level restriction power. Normally, it wouldn't be damaged, not even by an earthquake. However, Yang Wu used the power of heaven and earth. It was the power of a god spirit. It wasn't difficult for him to change the terrain. At the same time, Lan Yao was crazily absorbing the thick power. The Xing clan's people in the Fire Territory panicked. Some were killed, some were injured, and some were interrupted when they were about to break through. This was a disaster for the Xing clan. Chapter 1602. The Fire Area was an important place for the Xing family. It was the place where they had cultivated for generations. Anyone who could benefit from it would have a meteoric rise. Now, the fire field had broken through the tremors, and the firepower was spreading in all directions. It was also burning toward the land of the Xing family, taking away many lives. Ah! Why is the Xing fire coming out? I can't take it. This is the holy fire from the 5th level. Only a saint can withstand it. Run. Something's wrong. The fire area is changing. Is something being born? Is this some kind of natural disaster? I can feel the ground shaking. Where's the god array? Hurry up and activate our clan's divine formation to protect our child. The Xing family was in chaos. Some of the weaker ones were burned to death, while others were killed by the shaking. The Xing family was panicking. The Xing family's invincible elites all came out. They used their invincible skills to imprison the Xing fire. Many saints tried to control the Xing fire's power, but the earthquake was too sudden. The fire area's Xing fire had been accumulating Xing fire for many years. It was not something they could control in a short amount of time. An elder of the Xing family shouted, "Everyone, seal the fire area and seal the space. Who is it that dares to go against my Xing clan and break our restrictions? I will not live under the same sky as him." Another person shouted, "Now is not the time to find out. Seal the fire area. It's getting bigger and bigger. If this continues, we won't be able to control it. Activate the god array. We can't let anything happen." The Xing clan's heaven-reaching realm cultivators reacted quickly. Unfortunately, no matter what they did, the restrictions of the blaze domain were completely destroyed. The fire seed in the center of the blaze domain was completely out of control. It was impossible for them to suppress the blaze domain in a short time. Yang Wu was hiding in space, watching all of this calmly. He sighed and thought, "It's not that I don't want to take revenge. It's just that the time is not right. Wait for me to strip you of your fate chi." He pointed directly at the Xing family's billowing providence. 70% of the nearly 10,000 feet of purple providence was instantly taken away. The Xing family members felt their hearts sink, as if something was pressing down on their heads. Some martial artists who were about to break through suddenly lost the opportunity to break through. The children also became much duller. "It's over. Our aura pillar has dropped so much. It must be Yang Wu's doing. It must be him. He's back for revenge," the elder of the Xing family exclaimed. "Damn it. He's trying to destroy the foundation of our race that has lasted for 10,000 years. We swear that we can't coexist with him. Is he going to attack the Xing family? We can't let him succeed." Yang Wu did not exterminate the Xing clan. He wanted to keep the Xing clan alive and use this opportunity to spur the Yang clan to become stronger. If he were to eradicate the Xing clan, not only would it go against the heavens, it would also push the Yang clan to the cusp of the storm. When that time came, there might be more forces that would submit to the Yang clan, but once he left, the Yang clan would most likely fall into chaos. Now that he had destroyed the foundation of the Xing family would be depressed for a period of time. The Yang family, with their many resources, would take the opportunity to rise. The people of the Xing family didn't know that Yang Wu was still kind to them. They had been living in fear, constantly on guard against the sudden attack of the Yang family, which would lead to the rapid decline of the Xing family. After Yang Wu visited the Xing family, he went to the Lu family. He also caused a few natural disasters in the Lu family. Many people died and some important cultivation grounds were destroyed. The immortal realm experts of the Lu family were shocked. Unfortunately, they didn't know what was going on. They all guessed that it had something to do with Yang Wu. However, they didn't see Yang Wu, which caused them to panic. Was Yang Wu really going to destroy them? With Yang Wu's current influence, it would be easy for him to do so. On the same day, the Xing and Lu families suffered different degrees of heavenly punishment. The news quickly spread. Some people thought that Yang Wu was taking revenge. Others thought that the two families had dealt with Yang Wu before, and it was time for retribution. No matter what, the Xing and Lu families were isolated. The other families and forces temporarily distanced themselves from them. At this time, Yang Wu had already appeared in the Li family's territory. Yang Wu walked towards the Li family as if there was no one around. He said loudly, "Li family's grand elder, come out and meet me. Yang Wu is here." There was probably no one else who could barge into an ancient family like Yang Wu. The people of the Li family panicked. They didn't even know that Yang Wu had come personally. Could it be that Yang Wu had reached the level of omnipotence? Several powerful auras shot out from the Li family's forbidden area. Each and every one of them was an ingress expert. "So it's Patriarch Yang Wu," one of the undying old men said courteously, cupping his hands. "Forgive me for not coming out to meet you. Yang Wu, what are you trying to do by barging into the Li family?" A hot-tempered ingress shouted. All of a sudden, 6 ingress experts had appeared in the Li family, and all of them were at least mid-level Jade Moon. This was the strength of the Li family. The oldest of them had once been an overlord, but he hadn't appeared in public for many years. That was why his reputation had gradually faded. Yang Wu looked calmly at the ingress experts of the Li family. "Submit to the Yang family," he said coolly. "T, how dare you? You deserve death." The ingress experts of the Li family were furious. In the past, they had allied with the Yang family and taken advantage of them. Not only had they taken over the Yang family's cities, but they had also gained a lot of benefit. They had even been considered allies. In truth, it was the Yang family who had asked the Li family for an alliance. In the past few years, after the Yang family had risen, they had taken back their lost territories and gained some advantage. But wanting the Li family to submit to them was a fool's dream. Moreover, the 8 great battle clans of the battle race world had always been on equal footing. Even when the Yang family had declined, no one had thought of making them submit. Only the Xing family had wanted to wipe them out. And now, Yang Wu wanted the Li family to submit to the Yang family. This request was too much. These ingress experts locked onto Yang Wu, ready to kill Yang Wu at any time. Yang Wu looked at them calmly and smiled. "Reduce the Xian Qi of heaven and earth here by 30%. His words faintly contained a trace of unimaginable heavenly might. In an instant, the Xian Qi of heaven and earth in the Li clan's territory actually dispersed from here. Even the divine formation could gather the Xian Qi of heaven and earth again, and the Xian Qi of heaven and earth flew towards another place. The strength of these divine master powerhouses was astonishing, and their perception was astonishing. They immediately sensed this strange change, and their old faces revealed incomparable shock. What's going on? Why is the Xian Qi of heaven and earth in our clan rapidly dissipating? Impossible. Yang Wu, how did you do it? What kind of demonic technique did you use? Our clan's luck is decreasing. Not good. This is destroying our clan's foundation. The ingress experts of the Li family were all panicking. Their territory was the best place for cultivation, which was why the Li family had produced so many talents. But now, the Xian Qi of heaven and earth was dissipating, and their luck was decreasing. This was a sign of defeat. They looked at the calm Yang Wu and instantly felt their hair stand on end. Could it be that Yang Wu had really done all this? Was this the legendary divine spirit's word of law? "I'll kill you!" The ingress expert with the most explosive temper shouted and charged towards Yang Wu. He had been accumulating his strength for a long time, and when he attacked it was earth-shattering. He did not give Yang Wu any chance to escape. However, Yang Wu did not escape at all. When he attacked, Yang Wu counterattacked. Starlight. With a punch, starlight overflowed. It was as if a strange phenomenon was descending, and it was unusually domineering. The fist and palm collided, and in an instant the earth and mountains shook. The entire Li family seemed to be experiencing an earthquake, and everyone was shocked. After this move, Yang Wu did not retreat at all. Instead, it was the ingress expert of the Li family who was sent flying far away, and he spat out blood. That mid-level ingress expert was no match for Yang Wu. When the ingress expert of the Li family saw this scene, his eyes twitched. He exclaimed in his heart, "Yang Wu is so strong." They knew that the title of the world's #1 martial saint was not undeserved, but this was still ridiculously strong. "If you dare to use force, you will end up like the Xing and Lu families," Yang Wu said faintly. Not only had the Xing and Lu families suffered an inexplicable natural disaster, but their luck and xian qi of heaven and earth had decreased by more than 70%. The people who cultivated in the lands of these two families would only find it harder and harder to advance. Even their descendants would become weaker and weaker, and eventually disappear in the long river of history. It was no wonder that Yang Wu was so ruthless. These two families had once wanted to wipe out the Yang family in one fell swoop. Now, he had given them a way out. Otherwise, he could have drained all of their luck and caused them to decline rapidly. As for the disappearance of the Xing and Lu families, the Li family had not received word so quickly. Yang Wu had given them 3 days to think about it. Just like that, he disappeared into thin air from the Li family's lands. The ingress expert of the Li family was completely flustered. "Quick, go and see what happened to the Xing and Lu families," the old man of the Li family ordered. Thus, the ingress experts of the Li family flew towards the two families, wanting to know what had happened. Soon, they learned what had happened to the Xing and Lu families, and they were all afraid. They gathered again to discuss how to resolve the situation. The Xing family's fire domain has been destroyed. 20 to 30,000 of their family members have been burned to death. They are all direct descendants. The Lu family also suffered a disaster. Tens of thousands of people have died. The xian qi of heaven and earth has become extremely thin, at least by more than half. I'm afraid there will be a big problem soon. Both of them have offended the Yang family greatly. This move of Yang Wu's is really going to end their fate. Where should the Li family go from here? 3 days later, Yang Wu appeared again. In the transcendent world, Yang Wu could go anywhere with ease. No one could stop him. The ingress expert of the Li family and the current head of the Li family led a group of sages and direct descendants to kneel before Yang Wu and said, "Greetings to the head of the Yang Wu family." Their kneeling undoubtedly meant that they had submitted to the Yang family. They had no choice. If they did not kneel, the Li family would be finished. No matter where they moved to, there would be no place for them. Even if Yang Wu left, the will of the transcendent world would still take care of them. They did not want to follow in the footsteps of the Xing and Lu families. Get up. From today onwards, the Li family is a subsidiary of the Yang family. If you dare not come when I summon you, the Li family can wait for natural disasters. Yang Wu said faintly. Using the will of the transcendent world, he suppressed everyone in the Li family. The majestic will was like the might of the heavens, directly planting itself into the hearts of everyone in the Li family. They firmly believed that Yang Wu's words were not empty word. If they dared to have the slightest bit of disobedience, the entire Li family would definitely be finished. Yes, head. The people of the Li family shouted in unison. Just like that, the Li family submitted to the Yang family. When this news was announced, everyone knew that the situation of the war race world would change greatly. No matter what the other war races thought, Yang Wu would still do this. He was going to the divine world. There were some future troubles that he had to deal with. With the addition of the Li family, the Yang family had sufficient confidence. They would have a very long time to develop. 100 years later, 1,000 years later, the Yang family would rely on their own strength to become a superpower. Chapter 1603. The changes in the war race world were sensed by the other clans of the war race. Their hearts were filled with panic, afraid that something big had happened. When the Li family announced that they would be the Yang family's permanent ally, everyone came back to their senses. They knew that something must have happened. Yang Wu still made his move. The Xing and Lu families were unlucky, and the Li family had completely submitted to the Yang family. Being the Yang family's permanent ally, this sounded like an alliance between the two families, but everyone knew that the Li family had completely submitted. Yang Wu just didn't want to change the situation of the war race too obviously. Otherwise, the Li family would directly announce that they were the Yang family's subordinate. After doing all this, Yang Wu still made a trip to the Purple Firmament Palace. Some grudges still had to be settled personally. Back then, the matter between him and Yu Yu, the Purple Firmament Palace didn't have too many faults. Instead, many people of the Purple Firmament Palace were killed by him. He had already let go of this matter. But if he didn't give the Purple Firmament Palace some compensation, he would feel apologetic. Yang Wu looked at the majestic Purple Firmament Palace and waved his hand, directly cutting off 30% of the Purple Firmament Palace's luck. This meant that it would be very difficult for any outstanding talent to appear in the Purple Firmament Palace for the next 1,000 years. This could also be considered his return gift. After the people of the Purple Firmament Palace felt the change, everyone panicked. Especially the Purple Firmament Old Ancestor, who came personally to find out what was going on. But Yang Wu had already disappeared without a trace. Even if they knew that this was done by Yang Wu, they couldn't find trouble with Yang Wu. Yang Wu had already become a unique and special god spirit in the transcendent world. 1 year after Yang Wu was bestowed the title of the world's #1 martial saint, the transcendent realm seemed to have revived. Profound qi awakened, and everything became exceptionally different. Everyone discovered that the transcendent realm had become exceptionally different from before. In the 2nd year, many divine items and sacred items appeared in the transcendent. Many living beings fought over them and many battles broke out. However, there were also many young experts. For example, the 5 heroes of the Proud Sword, who had followed Yang Wu back then, had already made quite a name for themselves in the transcendent. In addition, Bai Luoyun had also shown an impressive side to the other races. He led the White Water race to suppress the Black Water race. Before long, he would be able to devour the Black Water race. In the 3rd year, the genius of the Yang family, Yang Qinghu, became a saint and was appointed as the next patriarch of the Yang family. From time to time, the Yang family would emit an amazing medicinal fragrance. It was rumored that there was a divine dragon summoning clouds and rain, which added a lot of noble dragon qi to the Yang family and helped the Yang family grow. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. Some astonishing talents appeared in various places. They were much more outstanding than the previous geniuses. Some special battle constitutions also appeared. Another flourishing scene appeared. In these 3 years, Yang Wu spent most of his time in the Yang family. Occasionally, he would go to the Medicine God Hall. He only rushed between the 2 places. He mainly did 2 things. One was to teach the Yang family's younger generation, and the other was to continue cultivating the way of alchemy. He did not waste a single day. In addition, Wan Lanxin and Shu Yujun were also pregnant. The 2 women were pregnant with Yang Wu's seed at the same time. In order to let his seed be born smoothly, Yang Wu poured a lot of resources into the 2 women to nourish their bodies. In the process of nourishment, their strength soared all the way to the peak of the Saint Realm. Yang Wu more or less wanted to let them break through to the Jade Moon Realm before letting them give birth to the child. However, the two women did not want the child to be born without seeing its father. Thus, before Yang Wu went to the God Realm, they wanted to let the child be born. On this day, auspicious signs appeared in the sky above the Yang family. There was a Qilin riding the clouds, a flood dragon breathing in heaven and earth, and there was also a black tortoise playing in the water. There was also a vermilion bird gracefully appearing. Thousands of purple clouds continuously gathered and fell into the same bamboo courtyard. The purple clouds were like the sun. This was an indescribably noble phenomenon. Soon, the sound of a ripe melon falling to the ground rang out. Wah 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 wahs. Before he could finish his sentence, another crisp voice rang out. Wah wah. Wah wah. Next, a woman's voice rang out. It's born, it's born. The two madams have both given birth. The group of people outside the bamboo courtyard all revealed incomparably joyous smiles on their faces. These people were Yang Wu, Gong Xilan, Yang Jingtao, Yang Zhenan, Su Romei, and Nan Nan. They were all close relatives of Yang Wu. The others did not have the qualifications to approach this place for the time being. Even Yang Ba, Su Chu, and the others who were loyal to him could only stand guard from afar. It was not that they could not approach the bamboo courtyard. It was just that etiquette could not be ignored. It was better for them to scrupulously abide by their duties. Yang Jingtao excitedly asked the midwife, "Are the two children boys or girls?" The midwife replied from inside, "A boy and a girl. They look very lively." Gong Xilan smiled and said, "Can we go in and take a look?" "You can come in. This is truly worthy of celebration," the midwife replied. Yang Wu nervously walked in. He had waited for this day for a long time. To be able to see the birth of his child before going to the divine realm was a joyous matter. Not to mention that the two children were born on the same day. It was truly a joy on top of a joy. Yang Wu entered the courtyard and looked at the two children placed in two sleeping baskets. One was a boy and the other was a girl. The two children were full of spiritual energy, floating with immortal qi. No matter how one looked at them, they were dragons and phoenixes among men. Gong Xilan carried the boy, while Yang Jingtao carried the girl. The two children suddenly stopped crying and smiled. It was very lovable. This child's divine court has opened. He must have been born with a natural Tao flower. His spiritual wisdom is outstanding, and he also has such immortal jade-like skin, tender and tough. I'm afraid it's impervious to swords and spears. He is a natural saint body, and is not inferior to the divine embryo body that was reborn back then. As expected of Wu Er's child, my Yang clan has gained another peerless genius. Yang Jingtao also said from the side, "This child is very extraordinary. She has a mole in between her eyebrows. She will definitely have great achievements in the future. Look at her pair of phoenix-like eyes. In the future, she will also be a phoenix descending. She will have the appearance of a mother of the world. Good, this is really good." Yang Zhenan and Su Romei were bursting with joy at the side. They also saw the children and completely agreed with the two's words. These two children were nurtured with countless resources. To have such a physique, it was naturally extraordinary. Yang Wu looked at the two children, then looked at the two women lying on the bed. He walked to the bedside and held their hands. He said with pity, "Madams, you have worked hard." Wan Lanxin and Shu Yujun both smiled. At this moment they were filled with happiness. No matter what experience they had with Yang Wu in the past, this moment seemed to be worth it. They had followed Yang Wu all the way and had never wavered in the slightest. Now they had finally blossomed and bore fruit. Wan Lanxin gave birth to a son, and Shu Yujun gave birth to a daughter. The battle between the two women seemed to have come to a conclusion. Since ancient times, the son would definitely carry on the family line and become the focus of the family's cultivation. The daughter would naturally be weaker. Unexpectedly, after Yang Wu let go of their hands, the first thing he did was to hug his daughter. He said with a smile, "You are indeed my daughter. You are so cute and beautiful. When you grow up, I don't know how many young talents will be charmed by you. It's just that how can I bear to marry you off to someone else? It's really difficult to have both." Yang Wu's daughter seemed to be able to understand his meaning. She laughed heartily and waved her tender little hands. She was very cute. Yang Wu moved his face closer and was touched by her. His mood was even better. Wan Lanxin looked on from the side with an uncomfortable feeling. She spoke up for her son. "Are you forgetting about your son now that you have a daughter?" Yang Wu looked at her with an apologetic gaze and said, "Don't speak nonsense. It's just that my daughter is a bit cuter and my son is also my flesh and blood. But in the future, he will have to experience some hardships before he can become a man. I can't let him be too arrogant right now." While he said this, he also touched his son's face. He couldn't help thinking of Xietian's appearance. 3 years had passed and he still hadn't found Xietian's whereabouts. He also hadn't been able to find the little man, which had become a knot in his heart. In these 3 years, Yang Zixing had already broken his seal and recovered his Saint Realm strength. Moreover, he had reached another level and could attack the Jade Moon Realm at any time. Yang Zixing was also looking for Xietian. He had to compete with Xietian again. This son and daughter were born on the same day. The girl was born a bit earlier and the boy was born a bit later. One is an elder sister and one is a younger brother. What do you want to name them? Gong Xilan asked. Right, we should name these 2 children. It's best if you name them Wu. Yang Jingtao agreed. Yang Wu said with a smile, "The names have already been chosen. The girl will be called Yang Wu Shuang and the boy will be called Yang Tianjiao. Unparalleled heaven's pride, unparalleled heaven's pride. Good, good," Yang Jingtao said with tears flowing down his old face. Not bad, not bad. This name is good. In the future, this brother and sister will be unparalleled heaven's pride," Gong Xilan said in a satisfied voice. The Yang family celebrated for another 3 days, congratulating Yang Wu on having a dragon and phoenix son and daughter. Following this, Yang Wu stayed by his children's side. He spent as much time with them as possible, so that he wouldn't know when he would see them again. The day of departure was getting closer and closer. The smiles on the faces of Wan Lanxin and Shu Yujun slowly faded. They didn't want Yang Wu to leave at all. However, they were also very clear that if Yang Wu stayed in the transcendent realm, he would be able to enjoy the happiness of family, but it would delay his path of cultivation. They were incomparably conflicted. On this day, Yang Wu called the 2 of them over and handed the children over to the servants. He hugged the 2 of them and said, "Madams, your husband will be going to the immortal realm. In the future, I'll have to trouble the 2 of you to manage this family together. Although there's great-grandmother overseeing things, there's no need to disturb her for ordinary matters. You can make your own decisions. Cheng Hu is still young, so he might not be willing to listen to Pang Yuan. Only the 2 of you can make him have some misgivings. I hope that Cheng Hu will become an even more outstanding clan leader, but I'm afraid that he'll be too radical, which might not be a good thing." Yang Qing, who wasn't even 50 years old, with his valiant strength and opportunities, he became a saint in one fell swoop and was designated as the next clan leader candidate. Chapter 1604. Originally, the Yang family had already decided that Yang Zixing would be the next head of the family. However, Yang Zixing had a carefree personality and did not like to be in power. He preferred to explore all kinds of dangerous places and search for great opportunities so that he could break free from Yang Wu's forbidden power as soon as possible. In addition, he wanted to cultivate powerful strength so that he could compete with Xietian. It was because of this that Yang Qinghu, who came later, became the next head of the family. Yang Qinghu was just a disciple of the side family, but the purity of his bloodline was relatively high. Moreover, his cultivation talent was outstanding. He had once entered the 11th level of the God of War pagoda and was second only to Yang Wu. In the past 3 years, he had been cultivating diligently and broke through several realms, becoming a sage in one fell swoop. He had also attracted a lot of strange phenomena and a change in his fate. Yang Wu had taken a liking to him, and Yang Wu had also given him some guidance and appointed him as the next head of the family. However, Yang Wu understood Yang Qinghu's personality. He was too vicious and would kill his enemies without hesitation. He did not care much about his family members. He was indeed a very good leader, but he was worried that if he killed too much, it would cause internal strife in the family. Because of this consideration, he said this to the 2 madams. Now, his 2 wives had already reached the peak of the sage realm and were respectively protected by Yang Ba and Su Chu. Moreover, they controlled the Crow army. If Yang Qinghu did not manage the Feng family well, they had the right to take back everything he had. After settling the matters of the family, Yang Wu said to the 2 women, "Before I leave, I will give Wu Shuang and Tianjiao a portion of providence to help them achieve a meteoric rise. However, you must remember not to spoil them too much. I don't necessarily want them to become the world's greatest sage like me. As long as they know how to be filial and righteous, that will be enough. Husband, don't worry. I will nurture them well." Wan Lanxin leaned into Yang Wu's embrace and said gently. Shu Yujun also asked from the side, "Husband, could it be that after you go to the God realm, it will be very difficult for you to return?" Yang Wu sighed softly and said, "According to past practice, I will also find a way back as soon as possible. If the divine realm is really so good and I can continue to stay here, I will bring all of you with me. If the divine realm is not good, I will find a way to come back." "That should be the case. Then, is my husband prepared?" Shu Yujun asked. "I already have some clues. Next, I'll confirm it. No matter what, I'll definitely come back. I can't bear to part with you, and I can't bear to part with the children," Yang Wu said solemnly as he hugged the 2 women tightly in his arms. On the second day, Yang Wu finally left the Yang family quietly. He didn't head to the divine world immediately. Instead, he brought the white-haired demoness and headed straight to the northern Devil Island. He should have left the northern Devil Island 3 years ago. However, the white-haired demoness didn't want to face it. Now, it was time for her to face it once again. The northern Devil Island was one of the 4 Devil Islands. It was surrounded by the Northern Sea, and the living space on the island was only comparable to the War Race realm. It was far inferior compared to the mainland. It was precisely because of the environment that the population on the island was limited. However, they had a unique advantage and had abundant resources. Their cultivation speed was faster than the people on the mainland. The 4 Devil Islands were also part of the Transcendent Realm. When the Transcendent Realm leveled up, the resources on the 4 Devil Islands would become even more abundant. Yang Wu and the white-haired demoness stood in the air. Looking at the flying beasts in the sky and smelling the scent of the sea, they naturally felt a sense of familiarity. He cultivated water-type profound qi and was the closest to the energy of water. At this moment, he was almost ready to break through to the next realm. "My lord, leave the rest to me. I won't disappoint you," the white-haired demoness said seriously to Yang Wu. "Although your strength has increased by a lot, as long as you don't reach the heaven-connecting realm, you won't be able to become the island lord of this island. Let me find a place for you to settle down and help you to break through to the heaven-connecting realm as soon as possible. In the future, you can become the island lord of this island," Yang Wu said. His gaze turned to a corner of the island. That was a quiet place with surging multicolored light. It was very suitable for the white-haired demoness to cultivate. This time, he brought the white-haired demoness back for 2 reasons. Firstly, he wanted to resolve the knot in her heart. Secondly, he hoped that she could become the island lord. In the future, when he returned, he might need to borrow her strength to accomplish great things. This was only a seed that he planted. Once it sprouted, it would grow into a huge tree that could blot out the sky and cover the sun. The white-haired demoness missed her homeland. In that case, he would let her become the island lord. After making arrangements for the white-haired demoness, he headed to the Apothecary Alliance. Now, the Apothecary Alliance was once again the dominant force. Ever since Yang Wu became the Chosen One and received the support of the Transcendent Realm's will, his name had spread throughout the Transcendent Realm. Whether it was the experienced apothecaries or the rising stars, they all admired Yang Wu. This admiration even surpassed that of Xiang Dingtian. They all joined the Apothecary Alliance, hoping to meet Yang Wu one day. It would be best if they could listen to his preaching. Yang Wu's main reason for coming here was to meet his senior brother Xiang Dingtian, Chao Jifei, Miao Yan, Elder Zui, and the others. In the depths of his heart, he was actually a little afraid of meeting Chao Jifei. He had long known about Chao Jifei's feelings for him. After the martial sage assembly, Xiang Dingtian had passed on the position of lord to Chao Jifei. She had become the Alliance Lord of the Apothecary Alliance, a true empress. Countless outstanding saints and even heaven-connecting realm experts wanted to marry her. If they couldn't, they could marry into her family. However, Chao Jifei rejected all of them. She even said that she would never marry. Some people knew that Chao Jifei had fallen in love with Yang Wu, so they spread the news. It became a sad but beautiful love story. Everyone thought that Yang Wu would marry Chao Jifei. After all, with Yang Wu's status, it was natural for him to have a few more wives. Yang Wu also had a good impression of her. However, he was about to go to the immortal realm. He didn't know if he would be able to come back. He didn't want to waste her time. However, as a close friend, he had to meet her before he left. Chao Jifei sat cross-legged in the tower. She was wearing an apothecary's robe that covered her voluptuous body. She still looked elegant and refined. Her faintly discernible empress's might was enough to move many emperors. Many imperial princes desired to marry Chao Jifei. A fortune-teller once said that marrying Chao Jifei could bring peace to the world and make one a peerless emperor. She had the characteristics of a great emperor. Wasn't Prince Qin of the Great Qin Empire infatuated with Chao Jifei? It was a pity that Chao Jifei wasn't interested in him at all. She had long since given up on his idea. This Prince Qin was also depressed because he couldn't win Chao Jifei's heart. In the end, he lost his ambition to conquer the world and was killed by the Great Qin Empire's first prince. Yang Wu didn't pay attention to these things. When he appeared in front of Chao Jifei, he was inexplicably nervous. That's right, nervous. Because Chao Jifei's watery eyes were staring at him without blinking. He didn't know what to do. He was a god in the transcendental realm. If he was still nervous because of someone, no one would believe it. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Chao Jifei said faintly. Her hands were constantly forming seals. Waves of energy floated and sealed the surroundings of the tower. Yang Wu looked at Chao Jifei's actions and said in a panic, "Jifei, what are you doing? Let's talk things out. Instead of saying 1,000 words, why don't you do it once? Today, I want to be your woman." Chao Jifei said domineeringly. In the next moment, the alchemist robe on her body instantly fell off, revealing her perfect and flawless body. Her sparkling and translucent skin emitted an alluring luster. Her towering chest, flat lower abdomen, deep, every part of her body caused people to sink in and be unable to extricate themselves. Yang Wu had seen all kinds of situations, but this was definitely the first time he had seen such a situation. He had struggled many times, wanting to directly leave this place, but when he looked into her eyes that were filled with tenderness and desire, he still fell. When her body approached him, he, a dignified deity, was pushed down by a mortal woman. It was a disgrace to gentleness. No, it should be a disgrace to manhood. However, since he had already reached this point, He could only swallow his anger and endure. Ji Fei, remember to be gentle. I'm afraid of pain. Don't worry, I'll take good care of you. 3 days and 3 nights later, Yang Wu rushed out of the tower in a sorry state. He really had no face to see anyone else, so he directly teleported to the ruins of the Heavenly Palace. Chao Jifei put on her clothes. Her face was flushed. She lightly pouted, then sighed. Finally, before he left, I pushed him down. I hope you can return safely in the future. I will protect you until the seas dry up and the mountains decay. The old Heavenly Palace. Now, the Heavenly Palace had begun to be rebuilt. The people rebuilding the Heavenly Palace were Hao Ren's second disciple, Nan Nan, and Jiang Ping. Both of them were listed on the 10,000 Saints list. Originally, Nan Nan had the chance to go to the God Realm. That was a special privilege given to her by the spirit of the Realm Core, but she gave it up. She wanted to fulfill her master's last wish and rebuild the Heavenly Palace. Nan Nan had a God-class true dragon mount, and Jiang Ping had the strength comparable to Tongtian. It was enough for them to rebuild the Heavenly Palace. However, there were so many things waiting to be done in the Heavenly Palace. It was too difficult for the two of them to rebuild the Heavenly Palace. Fortunately, Yang Wu and Xiang Dingtian had provided them with all their resources and manpower. In just 2 years, they had built the Heavenly Palace into a decent shape. When Yang Wu came to the Heavenly Palace again and saw the state it was in, he sighed in his heart. If Master was here, he would be very happy. When Jiang Ping saw Yang Wu, he exclaimed, "Senior brother Yang Wu, you came at the right time. Quickly guide some fate to the Heavenly Palace. Our Heavenly Palace will soon reopen. When the time comes, it will be the opening of Pan-Gu Heaven. It will definitely shock the world." He swept towards Yang Wu, but was kicked away by Yang Wu. "Nan Nan, big brother can't wait for the Heavenly Palace to reopen, but I will leave you a generous gift. Even if the people of the God Realm come to kill you in the future, you don't have to fear," Yang Wu said seriously. Then, he merged with the will of the world of Transcendent. Immortal Qi filled his body as he shouted, "The Heavenly Palace is the first palace in the world." Chapter 1605. The number 1 Palace Under the Heavens. This was definitely heavenly words, attracting the illumination of countless stars. Heaven and earth's profound Qi gathered, quickly forming an even better paradise than before. Yang Wu took Hao Ren as his master, so he was also a part of the Heavenly Palace. Unfortunately, he didn't cultivate the Heaven Profound technique, so he couldn't inherit the position of Heavenly Palace's master. His master had the highest hopes for his junior sister, so she was naturally the most suitable person to assume the position of Heavenly Palace's palace master. Jiang Ping's talent was extremely high. Other than being a little lecherous, he was also the best candidate for support. And now, Yang Wu and the Transcendental Realms were one, bestowing rewards on behalf of the heavens, directly conferring the Heavenly Palace as the number 1 palace under the heavens. As long as Yang Wu was still alive, this number 1 palace under the heavens would definitely live up to its name. Because the resources gathered here were definitely the most, the living beings who cultivated here would all become incomparably powerful. This was the generous gift Yang Wu left for Nan Nan. Within the hidden heaven realm, all the living beings felt the sudden change in the direction of the Heavenly Palace, and also faintly heard Yang Wu's words of conferment. They were all extremely surprised. When some people reacted, they all went up the mountain and hurriedly joined the Heavenly Palace. Taking the initiative, they would have the opportunity to rise rapidly. The reconstruction of the Heavenly Palace was no longer a secret, and the relationship between the Heavenly Palace and Yang Wu was even more well known. After the Heavenly Palace was conferred, it would become even more powerful than before. In addition, he also imprinted the martial will he collected from the final realm into the Heavenly Palace. Back then, his harvest in the final realm was not small. Other than leaving a portion for the Yang family, He also left some for the Marquis gang, and the rest was given to the Heavenly Palace. Big brother, wait for me in the God realm. After I finish building the Heavenly Palace, I will definitely go to the God realm to find you. Nan Nan looked at Yang Wu with a face full of reluctance. Yang Wu lightly stroked her hair and said, Amen, Big brother will wait for you in the God realm. In the future, we still have to avenge our master in the God realm. He couldn't avenge his master. This time in the divine realm, he would definitely find those enemies and uproot them once and for all. Over the next few days, Yang Wu continuously went to some of the places he had stayed before. He also returned to the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, hoping to find another type of profound essence chi from the mysterious passage in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. He tried to sense the will of the transcendent world, but found that even it could not sense where it was. On this day, he came to the sun-devouring realm and found his brother, Sun Do. Yang Wu prepared to head to the God world with Sun Do. This time, they each brought one person with them. Yang Wu brought Yu Huijin. She was originally from the immortal realm, but she had returned with Yang Wu. Meanwhile, Sun Do brought Do Yen with him. That was the evil spirit that had almost incinerated Yang Wu. When Do Yen saw Yang Wu, he glared at him fiercely and said, I didn't expect you to have such a tough life. How good would it be if I cooked you and ate you back then? Granduncle, he's my big brother, Sun Do emphasized to Do Yen. I know. I was just scaring him. Now that he's blessed with good fortune, I can't do anything to him here, Do Yen said indignantly as he scratched his cheek. He didn't have a good impression of Yang Wu. Back then, Yang Wu even wanted to threaten him to go to the Purple Firmament Palace with him. Big brother, are we ready to set off? Sun Do looked at Yang Wu and asked. Sun Do was the existence that ranked second in the Thousand Saints Assembly. No matter which realm he was in, he was a well-known figure. However, after he returned, it was as if he had disappeared. He didn't appear in front of any living beings. All the limelight was overshadowed by Yang Wu. Sun Do didn't mind. In his opinion, without Yang Wu, there wouldn't be Sun Do today. The matter is more or less settled. It's time to head to the divine realm. Yang Wu replied softly. After a pause, he said happily, You and I can fight side by side again. Sun Do also said excitedly, That's right. If it wasn't for Big Brother, I wouldn't be where I am today. From today onwards, I'll take the lead for Big Brother. Whoever dares to bully us brothers, no matter if it's the divine realm's divine realm, we'll crush them to smithereens. After Sun Do had awakened his bloodline powers, he had become ferocious and battle-hungry. After 20 to 30 years of tempering, he had become an extremely impressive expert. Now, he had even broken through to the divine level, which was much faster than Yang Wu's progress. Yang Wu patted Sun Do's shoulder and said with a smile, Haha, then it's settled. Let's leave. In the next moment they sensed the spirit of the realm core. As long as they silently muttered the name of the spirit of the realm core, it would be able to sense their thoughts at any time. Then, the two of them, Yu Huijin and Do Yen, were all transferred to the All Saints Palace. They were all top-notch martial sages and could leave with their attendants. Yang Wu and Sun Do didn't dare to bring anyone else. They only brought two living beings who had once lived in the divine realm. Only then would they have the ability to protect themselves in the divine realm. If they brought anyone else, it might only be a path to death. The human realm and the divine realm are separated by an endless Milky Way. I can't directly send you to the divine realm. I can only send you to the Milky Way at the edge of the divine realm. In the end, you can search for it yourselves. Life and death are up to the heavens. Think carefully. The spirit of the realm core's voice rang out. The human realm, demon realm, ghost realm, divine realm, and immortal realm were 6 different realms. They were separated by an incomparably long distance. It was already very good that the spirit of the human realm core could send them close to the divine realm. The human realm was shattered. It couldn't form a complete heavenly Tao. Only by leaving the human realm could it become stronger. The human realm didn't restrict these living beings who wanted to leave. It allowed them to go to a wider world to cultivate. This could also reduce the pressure on it. Most importantly, it hoped that one day there would be someone who could reassemble the human realm and restore it to a complete human realm. This was also why the spirit of the human realm chose the heaven's chosen children again, and then transferred them to the divine realm. It naturally hoped that some people would know how to be grateful and restore the human realm. Unfortunately, there were even more people who left and never returned. There was no one who thought of it as a good thing. Even so, it was still happy to do it. It always felt that there was hope. It's easy to get lost in the endless Milky Way. Moreover, there are all kinds of void holes. Back then, I was swept by a void hole and came near the human realm. Then, I mistakenly entered the medicine god palace. Yu Huijin said beside Yang Wu. That's not all. There are many more starry sky beasts. They are incomparably powerful. Once we encounter one, we will most likely die. Those who haven't reached the deity realm and dare to enter the divine realm's star river will die. Douyin glanced at Yang Wu and said. It was very obvious that he looked down on Yang Wu. Yang Wu acted as if he didn't hear anything. He said to the spirit of the astral realm, "Send us wherever you want according to the rules." Since he had decided to go to the divine realm, would he still be afraid? That was impossible. Alright, you guys take care of yourselves. If there comes a day when you become strong, I hope you will remember the human realm. The spirit of the realm core responded and used the stellar transposition technique to transfer Yang Wu and the others out of this small world. Yang Wu, Sun Do and the others felt dizzy. They couldn't control their bodies and their brains completely lost consciousness. It was as if they had stepped into the long river of time and space. They didn't know where they were. When they came back to their senses, they were already many light years away from the human realm. They were all living beings who had reached the divine realm. After stopping, they couldn't stop retching. They looked like they were in extreme pain. If they were slightly weaker, they would have been torn apart by this power. Almost killed me. Sun Do roared. Yu Huijin and Douyin were slightly better. However, their faces were still extremely pale. Yang Wu adjusted his breathing and looked around. His eyes were filled with worry. This was indeed a place of nothingness. It was too difficult to distinguish directions. If they got lost here, they would probably die. Although they knew that it was too easy to encounter danger in the vast space of nothingness, and there was no power to replenish them, they would be exhausted to death sooner or later. Fortunately, they could see a galaxy in the distance. It was filled with starlight. For a saint, it was definitely a perfect place to cultivate. Whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew over, and they all felt pain on their skin and flesh. Among them, Douyin cried out involuntarily, "Run! This is the void wind. Once it hits us, we will definitely be separated. Moreover, our divine bodies may not be able to withstand it." In the next moment, he quickly left with Sun Do. This guy had always been prejudiced against Yang Wu. He didn't want to go with Yang Wu at all. He wanted to take the opportunity to leave with Sun Do. Yu Huijin's reaction wasn't slow either. She pulled Yang Wu and quickly chased after them. In this place, it was better for them to stay together. However, just as they were flying away, that ball of void wind chased after them. Its speed was astonishingly fast. They were all extraordinary people. They immediately realized that this void wind was different. When they looked back, they saw that it was a group of strange insects that were rushing towards them. It would have been better if they didn't look. After they looked, their expressions changed. Yu Huijin cried out, "Void foot insects, run, run." At this moment, she also exerted all her strength to escape with Yang Wu without regard for anything else. Douyin did the same. The void foot insects were the most terrifying creatures in the void. They were very difficult to kill and could pass through layers of obstacles to devour living beings. Although they were fast, they were not as fast as the void-foot insect. They could escape through the void and catch up. Seeing that the void-foot insects were getting closer and closer, Yu Huijin and Dou Yen didn't hesitate to use all their strength to fight back. However, the void-foot insects' bodies were ethereal. They used the power of the void to dodge their attack. Not only that, but they also closed in on them. They opened their ferocious mouths and bit at them. "Relax, I'll take you away." Yang Wu's voice sounded in their ears. He sent out a series of palm strikes. Void hand. Bang bang. Normal attacks couldn't hit the void-foot insect. They could predict their movements. However, they couldn't dodge Yang Wu's void hand. It was a power that countered them. After the void-foot insects were attacked, they became a little messy. When they regrouped, Yang Wu had already used the void travel technique to bring the others far away. When they appeared in another place, before they could even heave a sigh of relief, their expressions changed again. Starry Sky Beast.